post-event interviews. We will be joined by our world champions and martial arts heroes, as well as by the chairman and CEO of One Championship, Mr. Chatri Sityodtong. The timing for these interviews are up on your screen. And just a heads up to the media joining us for this post-event interview session, we have switched up the format. To ask questions, please raise your hand on Zoom. And when I call out your name and publication, you will then be unmuted. We can then direct your questions to the athletes yourselves. We now have our first athlete of the day joining us, the former one lightweight world champion, Shinya Aoki. Shinya is coming off an impressive first-round submission over Eduard Folayang. Shinya, thank you so much for joining us. How do you feel after that impressive victory?
青木選手おめでとうございます。1ラウンド1本勝ち。今の気持ちをお聞かせください。
いや早い時間に試合して早い時間に終わったんで、なんか一日ゆっくり使えるなと思って、どう過ごそうかなと思ってますけど。
はい。Well, the bout started early in the morning and the bout finished early, so I have plenty of time left in today, so I'm thinking about what I'm going to do next.
Shinya, you now have 2 victories over Eduard Folayang, but immediately after the bout, you mentioned that if you had an opportunity to give him another fight, you would. Can you explain that?
フォレアン選手相手にこれで2連勝になりますけども、試合後にまた機会があればやろうとフォレアン選手に言ったと思うんですけども、それはどういう意図をしておっしゃったんでしょうか？
いや、なんか一生懸命やってきてくれたの分かるし、お互いこのコロナ禍において相手が変わったし、なんかこれでやめてほしくないというか、もっともっと一緒に頑張りましょうよっていう気持ちですよね。はい。
はい。We both had a change in the opponent, and he still he was prepared very well. So and he still wants Eduard to continue fighting. So he wanted to say that let's continue together. Keep on fighting.
Yeah, so we now have media with questions from all over the world. I'm going to read out the first name and publication here. The first question will go to Jay Anderson of Cage Side Press. Jay Anderson, please go ahead.
Thanks very much. And Shinya, I just wanted to know, how satisfying is it to get the win in the rubber match between yourself and Eduard Folayang?
じゃあ、青木選手、一つ目の質問なんですけど、メディアからの、フォレアン選手とのラバーマッチで、勝利を収めたこと、どれだけ達成感があって、どんだけ今、どういう気持ちですか？
いや、あんまりない、誰に勝ったかっていう、とりあえずなんか、試合がすごく怖かったので、それを乗り越えれて、ほっとしてます。はい。
It's not about winning against who. He felt fierce before going into the bout, but he successfully won against him, so he's happy and satisfied right now.
And you mentioned after the fight, you'd still potentially like to fight Akiyama. Is that fight more special because he's another of Japan's great martial artists like yourself?
また試合後に秋山選手にもやるぞと言ったと思うんですけども、それはやっぱあれですから、秋山選手は同じ日本のスターでもあるから、ぜひ日本人対決を実現してみるでしょうか。
ですね。これは日本では大きなマッチメイクだから、やるなら日本で、ね、日本の人にやっぱ盛り上がる。僕日本人なんで日本の人に盛り上がってほしいから、やっぱりやりたいなとは思いますけどね。
はい。Well, in Japan, definitely Akiyama versus Aoki is a huge matchup. So, and Shinya, he's a Japanese, so he wants to deliver a great bout to his fellow people. So that's why he called out Akiyama's name.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you.
Shinya, at age 37, you look to be hitting your second stride. You have now 4 wins in a row. How do you feel about that?
青木選手、今37歳ですけども、それでも4連勝中、もう連勝街道まっしぐらなんですけども、どう思いますか？
連勝してるっていうか、格闘技が好きで、ただ単純に楽しいだけなんで、はい、よくできたな。ずっと楽しくてただやってるだけです。
はい。 The consecutive win doesn't really matter. He's just, keep on fighting because he loves the sport and he's enjoying it. So we'll just, keep on doing what he's doing right now.
Our next question will go to Nick Atkin of South China Morning Post. Nick, please go ahead.
Hey guys, congratulations, Shinya, on the win. I just saw on Twitter that you posted a message to Sage Northcutt on Twitter, but Sage deleted the message he had written. Could you shed any light on what that interaction was on Twitter? You said something quite funny, but which I won't repeat here. But what was that about?
試合後にせいじさんツイッターに書き込んだと思うんですけど、せいじさんなんか消しちゃったみたいなんですけど、ちょっとそのやりとりちょっと教えてもらえると助かります。
いや、なんか次は俺だみたいなこと言うから、いやいや、あんたね、試合コロナでできなかったのに次は俺だって、お前どの口が言うねんみたいな、このバカみたいな、うんこ食ってろみたいなことをちゃんとやってやりましたけど。はい。
はい。Well, Sage was tweeting, I'm next. So he was like, hey, dude, like, you were, sick and you couldn't fight. So you're not the one who's supposed to say that, right? And yeah, I'll just skip what he said. But yeah. and he just cursed a bit.
Yeah, I pressed Google Translate, so I saw what Shinya said. But do you still want to have that fight then? And One Championship seems keen to do the fight, but do you not want to give Sage Northcutt that fight?
青木さん、ワン自体も結構乗り切りで、セイジ選手対青木選手やりたいと思ってますし、セイジさんも乗り切りなんですけど、青木さん的にはもうやりたくない感じですか？
いや別に全然やれって言ったらやりますよ、誰でも僕。はい。だって、試合、政治のスカットがダメだから、じゃあ、オラヤンとやってください。ああ、わかりましたって言ってやってるんで。はい。
はい。Well, if he gets the offer, of course he'll do it. Like he's just, fighting Folayang because Sage couldn't fight. So, it's not his thing. Whatever fight he gets, he'll just do it.
Okay.
He just cursed it out. Yeah.
Well, I just had another one. Eddie Alvarez just lost to Rae Yoon. Shinya, just get your reaction to that fight. Did you see the fight and were you surprised by that?
今まさに先ほどエディ選手が
はい、負けちゃったん
ですけど、それ見てのちょっと青木さんの思いをちょっと。
まあなんだろうな、こう、彼ってもう別にいっぱいお金も持ってるし、立場もあるし、別に試合しなくてもいい人じゃないですか。それでもなんかこう、やっぱやってるんで、そういう意味でなんかこう、シリアスというか、ハングリーになれないところはあると思うんで、この結果をなんか、僕はちょっと予想してましたけどね。はい。
She was able to kind of predict this result because, like Eddie, he already has plenty of money and he has a good reputation and he's already on the top. So he feels that like Eddie, it's hard for him to get motivated and get hungry again and go into the circle. So, this result is, kind of predictable.
And what does Shinya think Eddie should do next? And does Shinya still want to fight him in that trilogy, or does Shinya Shinya's more interested in Akiyama and Sage?
青木さんから見て、エディ選手はどうしたらまた強いエディを取り戻せると思いますか？あと今のエディのその敗北を見て、もうエディよりセイジ選手とか秋山選手との試合の方が興味ありますか？
僕はまあ一応なんか次エディみたいなことは全く思ってなくて、で、まあ、エディがどうやったら元気になるかみたいな、まあ、俺知らないっすよね。はい。なんかこう元気になる薬とかあったらいいですけどね。みたいなことは思いますけど、モネモネみたいになるんだけど、まあ、僕はなんかこう、実は若い、秋山って言いましたけど、もっとなんか若い選手とやっていきたいなっていう気持ちありますけどね。はい。
はい。Well, it's kind of none of his business about Eddie, how Eddie can get back to his self. But well, I guess if there's like a medicine that makes Eddie, happy and stronger, that'd be great. But I guess there isn't. So, but like, Shinya, he's not really looking at Eddie's fight. He's more interested in like fighting like the youth, the young athletes. That'll be more interesting for him.
And and on the fight as well, Shinya, did Shinya ever feel in danger that Eduard had anything? Could Eduard actually beat him, or was Shinya just so confident that he was going to get him down to the ground and finish it?
青木選手、フォロヤン選手との試合なんですけども、何かエディ選手がエディ選手じゃない、フォロヤン選手がやってくるんじゃないかっていう恐怖の方が大きかったですか、それとももうグラウンドに持ってきて決めれるっていう自信満々で臨みましたか？
いや、怖かったですね。やっぱり。試合は、やっぱり誰とやっても怖いもんですよね。はい。やりたくないなって思ってました。
He felt more fierce going into Edward's fight. I mean, even though it's not Edward, whenever he fight anyone, he always feel fierce, and you never know what's going to happen. So he didn't really want to go into the fight, but I guess he had to.
Okay, well, congratulations again, Shinya, and thank you guys for answering my questions. Thanks.
Thank you.
Our next question will go to Hamad Mir of MMA Diagnosis. Please go ahead. Hamad, can you hear us?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Shinya. Konnichiwa, Shinya-san. Big fan. Just congrats on your win against Eduard. You both were one-on-one going through this trilogy. Were you surprised at how easy this victory was for you? Did you expect it to be a bit more challenging?
青木選手、フォロヤン選手との1勝1敗での3戦目だったんですけども、思った以上にすんなりいきましたか、それとももうちょっとチャレンジングな試合になると思ってましたか？
いや、もうちょっとハードな試合になると思ってたんですけど、なんかグラウンドでコントロールして、エルボーがいいタイミングで入ったんで、それでなんか試合が傾いたかなと思います。
はい。He thought it will be a harder, more tough fight against Edward, but his ground control went well, and the elbow dropped like in a very good timing. So I think that was the point where that favored Shinya.
All right. And you mentioned that you wanted to fight Yoshihiro Akiyama and Sage Northcutt. If you were offered out of the two, which one would you prefer, Akiyama or Sage Northcutt?
秋山選手かセージノースカット選手どちらかと戦いたいとおっしゃってたと思うんですけども、次やるならどっちがいいですか？選べるとしたら。
日本で秋山とやりたいかな。日本でね。
Ideally, fighting Akiyama in Japan.
Okay, in Japan. Would that be in Saitama Super Arena?
埼玉がいいですか？
埼玉は武道館。
もちろんof course, Saitama Super Arena or Budokan, the best venue.
Okay. Thank you for the time, Shinya. Arigatou gozaimasu.
ありがとう。
We got time for one last question. Our last question will go to Ivan Stewart of Dugout Philippines. Ivan, floor is yours.
Alright, konnichiwa, good morning, Ohio. Alright. Okay, Shinya, I saw after the fight, Manong Ed told you something. What was that convo all about?
All right, can you repeat the question again, please?
Right. Well, Manong Ed or Edward talked to Shinya after the fight. What was that talk all about?
OK。青木真也選手、試合後にフォロヤン選手とちょっと会話を交わしたと思うんですけど、内容もし可能であれば紹介していただけますでしょうか。
また何年後かにもう一回やろうって。
He said, let's fight again together, like a couple years later.
That's interesting. So does that mean also in one championship or in another stage?
これもまたワンチャンピオンシップでやろうってことですか？
はい、またワンでなんかやっぱり5年前に僕彼に負けてね、いろいろ苦しいこともあったけど、そこから頑張ってこれたんで、今回ね、彼も今負けてて苦しい時だけど、また一緒に頑張っていきましょうみたいな気持ちが、仲間みたいな気持ちがあるから、はい、またやりましょうみたいな感じです。
Well, like 5 years ago, Shinya lost against Folayang, and after that, Shinya went through some struggle. He had a hard time, but he was able to overcome that. And I think Folayang is facing the same situation. He's losing a lot right now, but he hopes that he comes back again, and then he can fight again a couple of years later. And he just wants to, he thinks Folayang's a good friend and a good opponent. So yeah, hopefully he can fight again together in the near future.
All right. Arigato gozaimasu.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, Shinya and Yasu. Congratulations again and enjoy this victory.
Okay, おめでとうございます。以上になります。ありがとうございました。
ありがとう。
ありがとうございます。
お疲れ様でした。
お疲れ様です。また。はい。
Our members of the media, Reug Reug will not make it as he needs to go for checkups at the hospital. So we will return at 11:30 with Colbey Northcutt. In the meantime, please enjoy the main event.
I think we got interviews coming back, so I'm going to shut up again and bring you those.
Welcome back to the one on TNT4 post-event interviews. We are now joined by Colbey Northcutt, who's coming off an impressive first-round armbar victory. Colbey, 2 wins now and 1 championship, picking up your very first win, very first finish inside 1 championship. How good does that feel?
Oh, it feels great. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better finish. I wanted a knockout, but getting a submission just shows that I have a ground game too, and that's kind of what I wanted to show everybody tonight, and I think I did that.
One question I got to ask you, did Raymond throw up today?
No, he didn't. That's funny you say that. He told me afterward, he goes, I don't know if you noticed, but I didn't eat breakfast this morning because I didn't want to throw up again. So he thought ahead of time.
To the media just joining us to ask questions to Colbey, please raise your hand on Zoom. And when we call your name in publication, you will then be unmuted. And then you can direct the questions to Colbey. We have our first question here from Matthew Lee of Tiebreaker Times. Matthew, please go ahead.
Congrats on the win, Colbey. Just here, I just want to ask, what was your mindset heading into this bout, and how happy are you to finally get the second win?
I am super happy to get the second win. Obviously, circumstances are a little bit different this time with COVID. So the entire experience was something that I couldn't necessarily prepare for, between, flying to another country, having to be in quarantine, all the PCR tests, safety protocols all week, not even being able to leave your hotel room. Getting to be the very first fight of the night was awesome. But it was so pitch black and quiet out there. It was an experience that you can't necessarily describe to somebody unless they're actually out there doing it. So I'm super happy with how everything went. Obviously, I got the finish like I wanted. A knockout would have been great, but a submission was even better. So I'm very happy with how everything went down tonight.
Just to follow up to what you said, how different was that for you, having a closed event, no fans? How different was that?
It's crazy because the arena is so large. Getting to experience it last time with all the fans, you could feed off of their energy. It was just magnifying how great it was for my debut. This time, not only fighting in an empty arena of that size, being pitch black around you, being the very first fight, but also over here in Singapore, fighting bright and early at 8:30 in the morning. It was almost like I had to hype myself up and get myself amped because I couldn't feed off of the energy in the crowd because there wasn't any of that there. My corner was very vocal and very great at helping me, get energized and get going. But it was a surreal experience. And looking back on it now, I'm happy with the way everything turned out, obviously. So I wouldn't change a thing.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Our next question will go to Jackson Garst of Phantom Sports Network. Jackson, you're up.
Hey, Colbey, how you doing? Congratulations on the win.
Thank you. I'm doing great.
Good. When we last talked, I said I hope you get that Colbey, that Northcutt first round finish, and you delivered, no doubt. That was impressive. Can you just take me through a little bit what you saw when you were going into that submission?
Yeah, it was going back and watching the fight afterwards. I knew that she was going to be aggressive to come forward. That wasn't any kind of secret. I wish I got to do a little bit more of my stand-up than what I did. She was great at coming straight forward, did that leg kick right off the bat, pushed me back to the cage, but I wasn't really too worried. I had been in that position a million times before. So I was very calm and very patient and waiting for her to create some openings and spaces and kind of make little mistakes for me to capitalize. And I could hear my coach's voice in my head. I could actually hear Uriah Faber's voice in my head from practice being in that position of telling me to be patient, wait, look for the openings, get the frames, work my way out of that situation, and everything worked out perfectly. I wish I could have used a little bit more of my striking and got some more highlights, but I'm very happy that it was a submission this time. Maybe people will start looking at me as not just a striker and more of a well-rounded martial artist, and maybe that may make some girls hesitant to want to take me down too, because I can finish them there also.
Well, submission highlights, definitely a highlight indeed. Now that this is past you, what would you like to see? Who would you like to see? And where do you go from this?
I mean, Courtney was a last-minute change-up. The first person I could think of on the top of my head was Savannah. I know that she's had 3 or 4 fights with one championship already, and she's definitely a contender in the flyweight division. We were scheduled to fight this time, and she got injured, so I would love to fight her down the road if it's later this year sometime. I would really look forward to meeting her in the circle, and I believe that she would too.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, and of course, good luck on your next matches and a good fight.
Thank you.
Our next question goes to Jay Anderson of Cage Side Press. Please go ahead.
Thanks very much. And Colbey, congratulations on the win tonight. I want to build off that last question just a little. First of all, we've seen a number of Grand Prix in one championship. They've kind of become known for it. If they did one for a flyweight division, is that something you'd be interested in?
Absolutely. That would be a huge opportunity. And I know that one is building their flyweight division. So if they did open up a Grand Prix and build that, that would just bring a lot more women from other organizations into the league and into that division. So it's an amazing opportunity, and I would be crazy to say no to something like that.
And in the meantime, you mentioned potentially rebooking that fight with M later in the year. Do you have a time frame for when you'd want to fight again? Late summer, early fall?
Yeah, I was actually just talking about this with Sage after my fight. I gave him a FaceTime call and was talking with him for a few minutes. And I know that Shinya just called him out, and he was really looking forward to fighting Shinya this time, and he unfortunately got sick. So I would love to fight, if it is towards the end of the summer, whenever he's ready, to be on a card with him, because we were supposed to be fighting together this time. So whenever that timing is right, that's what I would like ultimately.
Last one for me, you did work with Team Alpha Male on the wrestling ahead of this. Is that the plan moving forward? Will you be spending some time there again?
Absolutely. Going back and forth between Training Lab and Alpha Male was the best decision I could have made this camp. The circumstances leading up to that decision weren't ideal because of COVID and lack of training partners. Training Lab is filled with killers. I mean, we have Coach Mark Munoz, who his name speaks for himself. We have the Bellator Bantamweight champ, Juan Archuleta, TJ Dillashaw, all these great athletes, but they're all getting ready for their own fights. So I was looking for training partners to help me with my camp and not necessarily take away from theirs. So Sage gave me a call and said, would you like to come up to Alpha Male? So I did go every other week for the duration of my camp up there from Sacramento to Orange County. And the amount I learned in that time was tremendous. So yes, moving forward for every future fight, I do plan on doing that again. Not because of COVID this time and lack of training partners or because other training partners have fights, but because I genuinely enjoy the atmosphere, the environment, the knowledge. Uriah Faber was incredible to me and my husband while we were up there. And I do believe that that's the reason why I got this finish so quickly tonight.
All right. Well, good stuff. Congrats again on the win tonight.
Thank you.
This next question goes to Hamad Mir of MMA Diagnosis.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can.
Hi, Colbey. Congrats on the great victory. You, your brother, your husband, you're all known as strikers. How frustrating is it for you every time you fight, the opponent's bull rushing you and clinching with you as a striker?
That's a great question. It is a little frustrating, actually. But it's something that I know is inevitable and it's going to happen. So it's easy for me to prepare for. This time, it didn't necessarily go the way I had envisioned. I guess it was almost like being in the arena when it was dark and there was no audience, and it was so calm that I was almost too calm in the start, and I wasn't as ready as I feel like I should have been. So I was a little bit delayed with my reactions, and I let her get too close and push me back against the cage. Once that kind of got going, then everything started kicking in, and I remembered everything with training, and I was very patient with my reactions. But I wish I would have been able to use my striking a little bit better than what I did this time. I didn't even throw a single kick, which is what I love to do the most. But you know, it is a little bit frustrating, but it's nothing that I can necessarily control. Maybe I start getting some more submissions on the ground, and it'll make girls a little bit more hesitant to want to take me down, and then we'll have to come up with something else. I don't know, but there's nothing I can do about that.
You feel like with this victory now that your opponents are going to be a bit more wary now with your submission game, your grappling game?
Maybe, I hope so. I got really long legs, so triangles and R bars are like all day for me. It's, I love it. So, and I'm very comfortable with my guard and being on my back. So if somebody takes me down, I'm on my back and I'm there, which is fine. And then wait till I reverse it and get on top, then you're really going to be in trouble. But, you know, it's something that maybe it'll take a few more fights. I've only had 2 fights with the promotion. Maybe it'll take a few more fights, a few more wins for people to start really seeing me as, you know, even a grappler or, you know, not just a striker. I think I started the stepping stone to that way tonight, but we'll see where it goes.
You mentioned training with Team Alpha Male now. Just wondering, who are your training partners for the wrestling, and what has Uriah kind of incorporated with mixing everything for you? Like, how big of a game changer was that for you?
It was great because they're not only all wrestlers up there, they're great at the chain wrestling, all the clinch work, the cage work, all the little transitions that I was missing because I am a purple belt in jiu-jitsu and I have those fundamentals. But it was the little transitions and then the cage and the wrestling part that I was missing, I feel like, in my game. And that's where they kind of helped. To be honest, out of all my training partners there, Corey Mckenna, she's only 21 and in the UFC, she's going to be she's a contender already in the UFC, and she was phenomenal helping me this camp. She was somebody that I trained with the most and gave me the look that I needed. It was very helpful, and she's just a sweetheart. So she's somebody that really helped me. And then obviously Uriah himself poured a lot of time as well. Everybody up there has great energy and is so, they kind of check their egos at the door and is very open to helping others. So everybody was a great help.
Are we going to see a takedown in your next fight?
I wanted to do that this time. The opportunity did not present itself, but yes, you will see that my next fight.
One last question. Next fight, what are we hoping for? A knockout or submission?
I would love a knockout. Everybody loves highlight reel knockouts. They get the most views. They're the most exciting. Submissions are great because they're super technical and you have to understand martial arts to be able to appreciate it, I feel like. But knockouts are what goes around the world. So I would love that.
Thank you for your time, and hope to see you and your brother making waves in one championship soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We got time for one more. Our next one will go to Darnell Giovanni of MMA Island. Darnell, please proceed.
Hi, Colbey. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you very much.
you see yourself as being the face of the flyweight division for ONE FC?
Not yet, but I hope to be. If I'm going to be very honest with you, I hope that I've said it before multiple times. I do want to be the very first women's flyweight MMA champ in one championship. They don't have a champion at this weight class. I do know that they're building the division. I believe that, it may take however many fights it may take for me to get to that point. I believe that I could be there first. So right now, I'll tell you no, but in the future, I will say yes.
And last time I asked you about Raymond showing his ground game in his Bellator fight, and now you got to show your ground game in this ONE FC fight. What did he have to say to you after you won with this armbar?
He just said, "I knew you could do it." I mean, we've worked so hard on our grappling and putting ourselves in uncomfortable positions. And when you're so good in striking and so good in one area, you're the best at, you feel like a total white belt going into something else. And it can be very, very frustrating, disheartening. Like Uriah was telling us in practice, sometimes you have to be the hammer and sometimes you have to be the nail. And in those kind of situations, you got to be the nail and you got to take some. But all of it paid off and it was great. I'm happy that he got to showcase, get 4 takedowns his last fight. That's more than I've ever had in all of my fights combined, which is absolutely amazing for him. He's on a very, very fast track to having to kind of learn everything really rapidly, obviously because of his age. He's 41 today. So, we're working really, really hard on it together and I'm happy to be doing it with him.
And after giving him that amazing birthday gift, what's the birthday plans when you get back home?
I don't even know. We haven't actually thought that far because we've been so focused on our fights right now, each of us, that we haven't thought about anything of what comes after. It's his birthday today and I didn't even get him anything because I've been so focused on myself and he's been so focused on, his fight, which was not even 2 weeks ago. So we got to come up with something when we get home.
Happy birthday to Raymond and congrats on the win again, Colbey.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time, Colbey.
Thank
Congratulations
you. Appreciate it.
again and enjoy this.
Thank
victory.
you. Thanks. Have a great day.
Have a great day. That was Colbey Northcutt. Don't go anywhere. In just a few moments, we will have the former ONE lightweight world champion, Eduard the Landslide Folayang, joining us. Please stay tuned. Welcome back to the ONE on TNT for post-event interviews. We have now joining us the former ONE lightweight world champion, Eduard the Landslide Folayang. Eduard, thank you so much for joining us. This was a major change-up of opponent for you. How do you feel now after this result?
The Shinya deserves the win. He really put the fight into his words, so he was able to dominate me.
Have you had an opportunity to talk to Coach Mark, and what is your decision now moving forward?
Well, we are still positive, it's just that we wasn't able to stop the takedown. Where we tried a lot of times, and yet Shinya is he really doesn't want the fight to go on the feet. So when he had the advantage to go to the ground, then he didn't lose the chance to get it.
Thank you for that, Edward. We have some media here ready to ask you questions. The first one goes to CD Argarin of DZRH. CD, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Edward, sorry for the loss. Gusto ko lang malaman, at this point of your career, nakita na natin yung results ng last fights mo, lalo na tong last fight na to. Iisip mo na ba mag-retiro or tuloy-tuloy ka pa rin?
Sa akin, yung pag-retire andyan lang naman. Pero as for the moment, still, marami akong natutunan ngayon ulit. And ganun naman talaga ang buhay. Minsan nakahanda na tayo and then some major changes. Kaya I think hindi yun yung magpapastop sa atin. Siguro hindi lang naging maganda ulit yung mga past na performance natin. This time I know na prepared ako, very calm ako dun sa laban. Kaso talagang napunta talaga sa mundo ni Shinya and he was able to get the finish.
I apologize for jumping in, gentlemen. We have been requested to have these interviews in English. So if we can do that, please, that would be very appreciated. Thank you so much.
All right, I'm sorry. Last question for me. Edward, do you think this rivalry with Shinya Aoki is done, or do you think another fight will happen again sometime in the future?
I think hanggang andito pa kami ni Shinya, talagang magmi-meet kami along the way. Siguro baka game 5 to o 2-1, kaya kalma lang guys. Baka makakabawi pa, we can be able to get back again on the 2 remaining.
Thank you, Edward. Thank you po.
Our next question will go to Ivan Stewart of Dugout Philippines. Ivan, please go ahead.
Thank you.
Ivan, you've cut off there.
Yeah, okay. Manong Ed, okay. We talked to Shinya earlier, and he said that you told him that to fight him again in 2 years' time. So does that mean there's a round 4 coming up in 2023?
Baka I think it will be on round 5. So we, as long as we are still here with Shinya, I think our will be crossing again. So this time I need to utilize all the time that I have to keep learning and growing in this sport.
Okay, so assuming that you're going to be fighting again with Shinya in 2 years' time, what will be your immediate plans on improving yourself within the next 2 years?
Well, of course, it's my dream also to submit him, even if it's a dream. Then probably that will be the greatest thing that I can do if I can be able to submit him. But this is a martial arts. Nothing is impossible as long as we believe. So, what's important here is that we should not surrender, but to move forward.
All right. Thank you very much, Manong Ed. Thank you, Gianni.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Edward, this next question is from Denison Dalupang of PH Daily. This question is this. Shinya said he sees himself in you when he was struggling after losing the belt to you in 2016, implying you're also going to get your way back to winning shape. What can you say about that?
I believe, there will be moments in our life where we'll be in a tough situation. But that will not be a reason for us to give up, Shinya, he knows it because he had been there, after losing with me. He lost again through the submission game with Gary Tonon, and then after that he bounced back. So I think that's the essence of this sport. Martial arts teaches us not to give up but to persevere. I'm looking forward into that great comment from Shinya himself.
We have our next question here from Phil Starr. Question is this: Edward, what's next? Do you think it's time to hang up the gloves? And if not, what do you think has to happen for something to change in your career?
Well, I'm already expecting this question. Probably a lot of people will be telling me, but should this failure make me stop, or the greatness within me is more greater? So I think I just really need the perfect time to unleash the greatness. Probably it's not now, but someday and in the future, they will see me rise again.
Thank you for that, Edward. This next question will go to Randolph Leongson from Spin Philippines. Randolph, floor is now yours.
Good morning. Tough loss for you, but it's how did the change from Akiyama to Aoki kind of affected your preparations? How tough was the adjustment from one opponent to another? And do you think that affected you in your psyche, especially that you were heading to this fight very, very confident against Akiyama?
Yeah, there's really a lot of changes, and I think it's one of the factors that affected my performance. I'm preparing for a striker, more striker in his fights, and then suddenly I shifted to one of the best submission specialists of the sport. So I think the adjustment is not that enough for me. Not unlike the first one that I really know in the very first that he will be my opponent. So I think in some ways it affected, but it will not be a reason to discredit Shinya. Shinya really do his job to put the fight in his world.
One last follow-up, Manong. Obviously, this fight, this went to Shinya, but moving forward, you said previously that you want to have probably a fourth and fifth fight, but do you still want that fight against Akiyama in the future once he's cleared?
Yeah, we never back down. Whoever is the opponent that is set before us, then we have that spirit to face them off. So probably it's not the time for us to meet, but someday, if that happens, then I will be willing.
Thank you.
Salamat.
Our next question will go to Kevin Estrada of Burn Sports. Kevin, please go ahead. Kevin, can you hear us? We're going to move on now. Our last question here will go to Hamad Mir of MMA Diagnosis. Hamad, the floor is yours.
Hello, Edward. Unfortunately, the fight didn't go your way, but Eddie Alvarez lost his fight. You two had a great matchup 2 years ago. You hurt him, you rocked him, you had a battle. Is that a matchup that you could see you two being next?
I don't know, it's a tough night for both of us, and I don't know if he's feeling for that fight. As an athlete, then probably, if that will be set, then I will be happy to accept it. But if it's not, then life must go on and move on.
You and Shinya now, you obviously this was a trilogy fight. Where do you feel like when he got you down? Where do you feel like is there like maybe in the game plan, because obviously it was a last minute change? Do you feel like because you were preparing for Akiyama, who kind of stands up a lot more, that kind of affected this fight for you with your preparation?
Yes, of course. Especially when they told me Shinya, the preparation is it really needs a long time to study and to master how Shinya will work on you. So probably, but just like I said a while ago, I don't dispute it. Shinya's ground game is really good there, and as much as I want to avoid it, it didn't go my way.
Manny Pacquiao is seen as the pioneer of Filipino boxing, one of the faces. Do you feel like at the end of your career you would be one of the faces in Filipino MMA?
Well, for me, what matters is that we are doing something great in this sport. Whether they recognize us as one of the faces or not, then what's important is that the sport, the spirit of sport, will continue to educate those people who are practicing this sport, that they will understand more about martial arts and mixed martial arts.
How many fights do you feel like you have left in your career, in your opinion?
We never stop fighting as long as we live. But for me, I think I still have 2 to 3 years maximum.
Okay. Thank you, Eduard, and hope to see you fighting soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Edward, thank you so much for your time. Please get back soon. We'll see you back in the circle.
Thank you, Jen.
That was Eduard the Landslide Folayang. Please stay with us. In just a few moments, we will have the chairman and CEO of One Championship, Chatri Sityodtong, joining us. Welcome back to the One on TNT4 post-event interviews. We are now joined by the chairman and CEO of One Championship, Mr. Chatri Sityodtong. Chatri, thank you so much for your time. What a great night of action. Before we get into this Q&A, can you give us your thoughts on this One on TNT4 show? Ladies and gentlemen, please stay with us. We will have Chatri Sityodtong joining us. Seems to be a little audio issue. After Chatri Sityodtong, we will have the Underground King Eddie Alvarez joining us, followed by Rae Yoon, Jackie Buntan, Aung La N Sang, Reinier de Ridder, as well as Kirill Grishenko. It's been an incredible night of action. Eddie Alvarez unfortunately suffered another setback. Rae Yoon now picking up 2 wins in 1 championship. Colbey Northcutt with a first-round armbar victory over the very tough Courtney Martin. Shinya Aoki picks up his fourth win in a row inside of 1 championship. And he has called out Yoshihiro Akiyama as well as Sage Northcutt, both very, very interesting matchups. We look forward to those matchups. We now have Chatri joining us. Chatri, if you can unmute your audio, please. We apologize for that. Chatri is still not in. Give us a few moments. We will have Chatri Sityodtong joining us.
Okay, we'll start.
Thank you.
We apologize for that. We now have the chairman and CEO of 1 Championship, Mr. Chatri Sityodtong, joining us. Chatri, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you to all the media around the world who were joining the post-fight conference call.
Chatri, it's been an incredible month of martial arts action. Before we get into this Q&A, can you give us your thoughts on this one on TNT 4 event?
I thought from everything within our control in terms of production, marketing, I thought the team did a great job. I thought the athletes, gave it their all in this last show. So let's knock on wood that the TV rings tomorrow come out healthy.
Thank you for that, Chatri. We're going to open up the floor now to the Q&A. The first question will go to Jason Burgos of mixedmartialarts.com.
Hey, Chatri. So the first question I want to talk about is De Ridder. He makes the call out at the end of his fight, talking about going for the heavyweight title next, trying to attempt what Martin Nguyen couldn't do a few years ago with his 3 championships. I want to get your idea. What's your promoter thinking on this? Do you go for something like that, a historic thing, have this guy, try to go for 3 titles? Or is there a thought, look, I can't have him hold up 2 divisions now as a 2-division champion? What's your thinking? What's the best for you? What's the best for the fighters or something like that?
I just believe in supporting our athletes as much as possible, and in their dreams, as long as they're achieving, great, outstanding performance, in the arena. That's what matters most. And so I'm definitely open to the idea of, Reinier challenging for the heavyweight world title.
We apologize for that. The phone seems to be disconnected. We will try to get Chatri back in with us. Please stay with us. Oh, Chatri's back.
Hello? Yeah, I'm here. Hello?
Yeah, can you hear?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay.
Jason Douglas, can you repeat that question, please?
No, I got the question. I'm definitely open. I'm definitely open to Reinier going for a 3rd division. But we still have to see the results of Brandon Vera versus Arjun Bular in Wendongal in a couple weeks, right? So.
Now, moving on from that to lightweight, Shinya Aoki had a fantastic performance. It would seem like he would be the clear-cut guy to be next for Christian Lee, but he ends up calling out other names, Akiyama, Sage Northcutt. What's your thinking on that? Christian has beaten everybody in the top 5 for the most part. That seems like an easy fight in a rematch. Or does Rae Yoon, who had a great performance, does he kind of jump the line from 5, and is he in contention now for the title?
Yeah, I think, Christian has beaten Shinya once, so I'm not sure that, he's ready. He's excited for that matchup. But, yeah, I think Shinya has earned a title shot, definitely. And Oak obviously put on an outstanding performance, shocking everybody, especially in that first round against Eddie. So, yeah, I mean, either one. But again, the event just ended, so I haven't had time to talk to the team and make any decisions yet.
All right, one last question. What are your thoughts? I know it's, again, kind of same idea, future thoughts, but just instant rapid thoughts on Eddie Alvarez. Where would you like to go with him next? He's now 1-2-1 in the promotion. Does rematches with Eduard Folayang or Nashiukin make a lot of sense? Would you like to see something new going to names like Northcutt or Akiyama?
I think I still want to see the trilogy match. Shinya versus Eddie. I think that still is a good fight. Although Eddie has to win 1 or 2 in order to fight Shinya, just get on the right side. Eddie has struggled against Eduard Folayang before finishing him, and so it's a tough one. I love Eddie, but tonight's performance was definitely not one for the one for the ages. I was a little bit disappointed.
All right, fair enough. Thank you so much, Chatri.
Yep.
Our next question will go to Jesse Holland of MMA Mania.
Hey, Jesse. Hello?
Jesse, can you hear us?
Hey, you hear me now?
We hear you now. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sorry about that. Hey, Chatri. Bit of a bizarre ending to the Reug Reug fight. I understand he was taken to a medical facility. Firstly, do you have an update on his condition? And secondly, do you have any insight into his delayed reaction after the bell, kind of what happened there?
Yeah, it was a very disappointing fight. It was a very disappointing fight overall, and a very disappointing ending. I'm not sure what exactly happened or what was going on in Reug Reug's mind. but he said he was truly hurt, but the blow was at the bell, so it wasn't an illegal blow. I think there's a little bit of confusion because he said it was illegal, after the bell, and so we had to check the tape. I'm just. It didn't look particularly like a hard punch. But again, these things, if they're at weird angles, can still inflict damage. So I just don't know. I haven't got an update on Goku's situation right now.
Okay, it's honestly, it's been a crazy couple of weeks. For one, a lot of big names have gone down, and not just DJ and Eddie. We had Reug Reug take the L tonight. You think the TNT shows have kind of put the rest of the MMA world on blast? Like, hey, you can't just come over here and expect to coast.
Yeah, no, I think it's the first time that the U.S. fan base is realizing this or understood it. One Chapter has the greatest roster in the world. I've said it, whenever fans and media ask me, and they ask me often, about would I ever do a co-promotion with UFC or whatever, and I would love it, champion versus champion, the best of the East versus the best of the West. But, if you look at the track record of the UFC athletes who've come into one championship in the last couple of years, they've lost, I think, 80% or something, and most got knocked out. And so, I'm very confident in our roster. I'm very confident in our world champion. That being said, we're always constantly looking to upgrade and find the very best in the world across all divisions. And so we've been beefing up our heavyweight division in the last 6 months, and we expect bigger signings going forward. So, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me, but I think for U.S. fans, because the majority of MMA media is in America, right? So American fans get a lot of UFC, but don't get a lot of what's happening in the rest of the world. But yeah, I truly believe that one has the best roster in the world.
Last one for me, Chatri. Colbey Northcutt looked outstanding tonight. I know she's kind of been frustrated not being able to compete with everything that's going on in the world the past year or so. How anxious are you to get her back into action after what you saw tonight?
Yeah, definitely want to get her back in action. But, just to be very clear, she got married, and so that also contributed to the, her not getting back to action as quickly as possible and all that stuff. So there's a lot of other factors other than COVID. But yeah, I mean, Colbey looked fantastic tonight. I'm a big fan. She's a super nice person, and clearly has the same Sage Northcutt genes.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question goes to Nick Atkin of South China Morning Post. Nick, floor is yours.
Hey, Chatri.
Hey, Nick, how are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good.
Awesome. Just wanted to, first of all, get your thoughts again back on Eddie. Do you think that maybe there's a chance he should try going to featherweight, dropping down a division? Are these guys maybe too big in one?
No, I mean, again, like, this is a real misnomer, right? So walking weight means they weigh their walking weight, and we check their hydration testing. So let's take a look at the unified system in America. If you are 170 pounds walking weight, typically you'll shed water weight. You go to the sauna and cut down to 155 for the weigh-in. You weigh in at 155, but then immediately you drink up, right? You rehydrate. And so on fight night, actual fight night in the UFC or Bellator, they're at 170. At one championship, 170, we don't allow you to cut water weight, during the week just to make the scales. You have to take a piss test, and you have to take a weigh-in test, right, throughout the week. So we're able to monitor the hydration levels of their athlete and their weight. So it's I know it's a little bit confusing to many, but it's actually very simple. A 155 pounder in the UFC actually walks at 170, 180, and they just cut weight during the week, during the fight week, right, to hit the scales. But by the fight night, they're already competing at a much heavier weight based on their rehydration.
Yeah, I mean, just if Eddie could possibly get down to that weight, do you think? I mean, there's some good matchups there in that division for him as well, but might that be more natural to him? Do you think? I mean, could he get there?
I don't know. You know, again, it's all walking weight, right? So I mean, Eddie looks pretty lean, pretty muscular. You know, could he lose another 10 pounds of walking weight? Again, you can't cheat the system. It's not about water. It's not about going to the sauna and shedding sweat, right? You know, to drop to a lower division, it means you have to literally shed fat or muscle in order to make the other, you know, the next division. So I'm not sure that Eddie can make the featherweight division in terms of walking weight.
Okay, and also Aung La, you know, he put up a good show today, but I think Reinier just had too much for him on the ground. But where does Aung La go from here? What do you think?
Yeah, you know, I'll sit down and talk with Aung La, but you know, Reinier proved that today he's the real deal. I mean, he dominated Aung La, you know, for 90% of the fight, and looked extremely sharp. But you know, Aung La is a champion, so I'm sure he's going to go back to the drawing board and upgrade his skills and hopefully come back stronger and better. But you know, there's still plenty of other fights for him at middleweight or at light heavyweight.
And just finally, very quickly, Ritu Fogart, they announced she's going to fight Bi Nguyen at one Dangal event. It should be broadcast on May 15th, but she's also scheduled for the Atomweight Grand Prix a bit later in May. It's quite a quick turnaround for her there. Is there any risk involved, or have there been any changes to that lineup in the GP?
No, I mean, you know, Ritu accepted both. She wanted to fight one more fight before the GP, and she knows that if she loses, she's risking a lot. But let's see what happens, right? Yeah, I mean, I guess Ritu's confident she's going to win. I don't know. Against B.
All right. Thank you very much, Chatri.
Yep.
Thank you, Nick. Our next question will go to Jay Anderson of Cage Side Press. Jay Anderson, please go ahead.
Thanks very much. And just a quick one for me, Chatri. You spoke about Colbey Northcutt earlier. When we spoke to her, she expressed some interest in the idea of maybe a flyweight Grand Prix as you're looking to potentially build that division. Is that something you'd consider down the road?
Absolutely. You know, I love World Grand Prix. It's just finding, you know, the very best female athletes, you know, in that division from around the world and doing Grand Prix. I love that idea.
All right, good to hear. That's it for me.
Thank you.
Next question will go to Drake Riggs of My MMA News.
Hey, Chatri. You know, this was a crazy stretch of events for the One on TNT series. Just kind of curious, you know, how you would summarize what we've seen in these 4 events.
I didn't catch your question. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, sorry about that. The one on TNT series has been, you know, a crazy stretch of events, a lot of moments that stand out a lot. Just curious how you would summarize what we've seen in these 4 events.
I think it's just a start, you know. It's a good introduction of one championship to American fans. They got a peek at some of our athletes, and they got you know, and they got to look at an entirely unique, differentiated brand and product, you know, on broadcast. And obviously, they also saw some of the greatest martial artists on the planet in action. So I think overall, I would say it's a good start. I'm not satisfied with our TV ratings by any sense of the imagination. I think it's a good start. I don't think, you know, I'm grateful that, you know, our numbers are already stronger than Bellator and PFLs, and that makes, you know, one already the number 2 player in the U.S. in terms of broadcast product. But let's see what happens with our discussions with TNT and other potential broadcast partners in the U.S.
And is there a moment for you that kind of stands out above all the others?
I think about which fights I like. You know, I thought the Rae Yoon Oak fight against Eddie was really a fun, exciting fight. and I know Eddie was a very heavily so he was heavily favored. He was a heavy favorite to win. I think it was minus 350 or something like that. So there's just a lot of talent, in one championship. I think a lot of people are finally seeing what we've already known out here in Asia. Trying to think of some other fun fights. I thought Shinya's performance against Eduard Folayang was just, again, he's been on a tear. I thought the best performance so far of the entire TNT series, I would say, would be Christian Lee versus Timofey Nastyukhin. That one was an outstanding, incredible fight. But I guess for me, the major themes are, one champion's introduction into primetime TV in America has already put us as the number 2 player in the U.S., and it's just the beginning. And I think the other theme is that American fans can now finally understand that one championship roster, genuinely can go head-to-head against any organization in the world.
And last question for me, when you return to TNT with whatever your next show ends up being on TNT.
Oh, one more thing. I think Adriano knocking out DJ was also a huge, shocking moment. That was a big highlight too, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't go wrong with that one. But as I was saying, for your return to one on TNT, when you get back at it, are you hoping to have maybe bigger cards or a bigger card? Because, with these 4 that we've seen, a little bit more condensed with the 6 or 7 fights as opposed
to... Yeah. It's not ideal, right? Because, historically we'll do anything from 12 to 16 fights, in a show. I think a couple factors, TNT wanted to test it out and gave a 90-minute slot. So in 90 minutes, you can only do so much, right? In terms of number of bouts. And then the rest were on VR. But yeah, I agree. So again, all this kind of stuff is up for discussion right now. We're talking, the teams are talking, I can tell you, with Turner. And I know that Turner's very happy. I know that American fans have been very excited about one. If you see all the Twitter chatter, if you look at all the press coverage, if you look at all the exciting fights, I think overall, it's a good start, is what I would say.
All right, thanks, Chatri.
Thank you.
This next one will go to Leon Jennings of Asian Persuasion MMA.
Hey, Chatri. How's it going?
Hey, Leon, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. I want to quickly ask you about One Dangle. It seems like you've gone for an Indian theme there. What's the thinking behind that? And I guess that's why Ritu wanted to compete on that card, even though she's competing in the Grand Prix.
Yeah, because it's a big India card. We obviously play with a lot of different teams, and with our different cards and the names of the cards. One Dangal actually is not only Bollywood's biggest movie in history about Ritu's family, the Fogat wrestling family, but also Dangal means wrestling, wrestling pit. I'm not sure that the world knows, but India has a lot of high-level wrestlers, and in honor of the Fogat family and in honor of Bollywood's biggest blockbuster movie in history, we wanted to just showcase the very best of India on the card, and so that's why it's called One Dangal. And obviously, the fact that Dangal is the biggest movie in Bollywood history, and it's based on the true story of the Fogat family, and we have the youngest daughter, Ritu, of that family. So we just thought it would be a very nice tie-in into trying to ignite India and welcome Indian athletes onto the global stage of martial arts.
What happens if Ritu loses against B. Nguyen? What happens? Does she still compete in the Grand Prix?
No, I don't think she will be in the Grand Prix then, right? She's risking it, so let's see what happens. She must be confident. Otherwise, yeah.
Cool. And Jackie Buntan looked good tonight. There was talks before she beat the winner of her and Wonder Girl maybe would have fought for the inaugural strawweight Muay Thai title. Is there any talk about whether we'll see a title there soon?
Yeah, no, there'll definitely be a world title in line eventually in that division. Yeah, Jackie looked good tonight, but I was actually surprised by Ekaterina. It was a very, very close fight. It could have gone either way.
Lastly, ideally, when would you like to return back to TNT with another series?
Again, I can't comment right now. I can just tell you that very serious discussions are underway or have been underway actually from a couple weeks ago. So I can tell you that TNT is very happy with the results and very happy with the viewership, with the buzz, the social media, and all that stuff. And obviously, for TNT to just come on for the very first time in live prime time, and already now, again, as I said, One Champion is already head and shoulders in terms of actual viewership, average viewership numbers above Bellator and PFL. I think we are 2 or 3x above PFL, and I think 2 or 3x above Bellator, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of average viewership numbers. And obviously, for broadcasters, that's what matters most.
It's been a fun month. Cheers, Chatri.
Chatri, this next question is from Bong Lagzada from Inquirer. His question is this. Hi, Chatri. This was a wild night in terms of result. Are you guys working on a rematch between Eddie and Eduard? The first fight did have a roller coaster of an ending.
Yeah, that could be an interesting fight. That could definitely be an interesting fight. I just haven't had time to think about it, I just haven't had time to think about it. Haven't had time to discuss with the team. There's a lot of options for Eddie. There's a lot of options for Eduard. But I think the Filipino fans would love to see a rematch. I don't know if the rest of the world wants to see a rematch. It's hard for me to say right now.
Thank you for that. This next question will go to Chris De Santiago of MMA Island. Please go ahead.
Hi, Chris. I think you're on mute.
Hi, Chatri. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. So, we had the conversation on whether one on TNT 4 would be the best card of the year so far. Would you have to agree with that?
No, I was not happy with the card overall. If I look at some of the cards we've done in the past, this doesn't rank anywhere close to being amazing by any. I thought it was an okay card. The fight didn't pan out the way I thought they would in terms of excitement. So from that perspective, I'd say it was just okay. TNT 4 was okay, not great, not bad, just okay.
Gotcha. And a lot of newer American fans, obviously the American audience isn't as used to watching one, with a lot of people didn't know about the legal knees until the Demetrius Johnson fight. With the Eddie Alvarez fight, it was more so on the rules of scoring. We don't have the round by round scoring. So were you surprised that there's a lot of critics saying that Eddie won the fight, not knowing the round by round scoring was in play?
Sorry, Eddie won the fight. You mean tonight?
Oh yeah, a lot of critics were saying that Eddie won the fight. Even though Oak, won the first round pretty handily. And,
no. For me, it was very clear cut. Oak definitely won the fight. Again, we don't score round by round. We score. Well, you can go to a website. You can see the scoring criteria, but basically, damage is the most important criteria, or near finish is the most. And if you look at who landed the much more significant strikes, Oak by far, right? I think Eddie was 1 or 2 punches away from getting completely out in the first round, and Eddie scored 0 takedowns. He tried to take Oak down, for the whole fight, couldn't take him down, and did have a few good, solid strikes, but he didn't rock or rattle Oak at any point in time. Oak was never close to getting finished. So, that is the criteria. But even if we scored this fight from a unified system, that first round was a 10-8 round for Oak, and the second round was probably a 10-10 round, and the last round could be 10-10 or 10-9. Both second and third rounds could have been 10-10 or 10-9 if you scored it under the under the unified system, right? But it was a clear-cut victory for me. For Oak.
I'll definitely have to agree with that. Thank you so much.
Yep.
That's it from us, Chatri. Thank you so much for your time.
I'm actually shocked. I asked the media right now. Do the media think that decision was controversial? Eddie's loss?
It seemed pretty clear.
Yeah, a lot of fans, disagreed with. But obviously, it was a lot more newer American audience fans. With me being a fan of one for a while now, I already knew that Oak won that fight clearly. But I'm not sure if the media, but a lot of the fans, a lot of the newer American fans would disagree with that.
Got it. I'm surprised, yeah. Because I'm surprised because under any rule system, any voting system, I think any ruling system, I think Eddie lost that fight. Yeah.
We have one more question here before we let you go, Chatri.
Just out of curiosity, what do the other media think? Like Jason Burgos and everybody else, just curious. Just as a temperature check on that fight, or Leon, or anybody, or Nick Atkins.
Clear Eddie lost by Drake Riggs. Most of them seem to agree with you, Chatri.
Got it. Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, under any ruling system, Eddie lost the fight. Okay, thanks.
One more here before we let you go. This one will be from Dylan Bowker of My MMA News.
Yep.
Hey there, Chatri. I was just curious because with, Reinier de Ridder calling out the winner of the heavyweight championship fight there, is there a level of desire in wanting to position him in that kind of placement to give him like the three-peat, kind of like rarefied air type of status? Or would there maybe be a standout contender, a middleweight or light heavyweight that would take precedence for Reinier de Ridder in the next outing?
Let's see who wins the title fight first between Roland, and I'd have to sit down, right? I mean, I haven't even talked about it. I was surprised. I had no idea that Reinier was going to call out the heavyweight champ as well. I had just no idea. But I think it's an interesting idea, and I'm open to it. But I just want to see what happens in the heavyweights first. And plus, we've been really active in recruiting a lot of heavyweights from around the world, rising stars or prospects like a Reug Reug, and letting them develop. And, I have big plans for the heavyweight division. I think that's the one division where, I'm not as proud of in terms of, the depth of athlete talent there. But I can tell you the last 6 months, we've signed a lot of big monsters that I think the heavyweight division has come on very, very strong. Especially by next year.
Yeah, just a bit of a follow-up to that. Someone in the talent pool that locally I'm interested in, just being a fellow Canadian, Dustin Joynson. I'm kind of curious when Dustin Joynson can be expected to get into the one circle there. So I think he's a great addition to the roster there.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of talent we haven't even announced as well. At the heavyweight division that people, there's so many incredible athletes around the world who don't necessarily have huge names yet, but they're actually outstanding athletes with real world championship potential. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for athletes, the very best martial artists on our planet with world championship potential. We want the very best.
Awesome. Thanks for the time, Chatri.
Thank you.
Chatri, thank you so much again for your time.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.
That was the chairman and CEO of One Championship, Mr. Chatri Sityodtong. We have a little change in schedule here. Unfortunately, Eddie Alvarez will not be joining us. We will now have instead Rae Yoon joining us. Please stay with us. Welcome back to the One on TNT for post-event interviews. We are now joined by Rae Yoon. Oak's coming off an impressive unanimous decision victory over Eddie Alvarez. Oak, congratulations on another victory in such a short span of time. How are you feeling?
이렇게 짧은 시간 내에 대단한 승리를 에디 알바레스 상대로 거두셔서 너무 축하드린다고. 지금 시합 끝나고 난 심정이 어떠시냐고. 지금 한 달 안에 경기를 2경기 뛰었는데 솔직히 뭐 아직도 얼떨떨합니다. 네, 레전드인 에디 알바레즈를 이긴 것도 그렇고 그 랭킹 5위 가파로프를 이긴 것도 그렇고 이게 한 달 안에 이루어진 건데 아주 좋은 선수 두 명을 이긴 거라서 좋기도 좋은데 아직 실감이 잘 안 나는 것 같습니다.
You know, I competed twice in a span of 1 month, so I'm very happy that I won, but at the same time, I still can't believe if this is real. You know, it's surreal. So, you know, I'm very happy that I got to compete against great athletes like Marek Gafurov, who's the number 5, who used to be the number 5 in one championship lightweight, and Eddie Alvarez, who's a legend. So I'm very happy that I competed with them and that I won.
Talk to us about that experience, having to face Eddie Alvarez. Were you nervous at all by the magnitude of his name?
에디 알바레스 선수와 시합을 하셨는데
네.
어떠셨나요? 그 에디 알바레즈라는 그 거물이라는 이름에 좀 뭐 압박감이 있으셨나요? 어떠셨나요?
압박감보다는 솔직히 좀 압박감이 없었다고 하면은 거짓말이겠지만 그거보다는 더 큰 게 기회이기 때문에 이 기회를 잡아야겠다고 더 생각을 했어요. 그래서 조금 더 정신을 가다듬고 경기에 집중하려고 노력 많이 했습니다. 네. You know, to be honest, there was a bit of pressure, but more than that pressure was that this was an opportunity for me. So there was pressure, but you know, I took this opportunity because Eddie Alvarez is such a legend, and it's a chance to change my life.
Thank you for that. Michael, we have media here with questions. I'm going to read them out to you, okay? Our first question will go to Damon Martin of MMA Fighting. Damon Martin, please go ahead.
Congratulations on the win, Oak. Let me start by asking, were you surprised that Eddie was able to survive that first round? And was there any part where you felt like the fight should have been stopped?
1라운드에 에디 알바레즈가 그 공세를 버티신 거에 놀라셨나요? 그리고 지금 다시 한번 생각해 보시거나 봐보시면은 1라운드에 그렇게 파운딩 때리셨을 때 심판이 멈춰야 됐다고 생각을 하시나요?
1라운드에 그 큰 데미지를 줘가지고 제가 흥분해가지고 그 좀 더 정확하게 때렸으면 괜찮았을 텐데 심판 판정은 정확했던 것 같아요. 에디도 약간 계속 움직이고 있었고 했는데 뭐 제가 조금 더 정확하게 못 때린 거겠죠. 네, 괜찮습니다. I believe that if I stayed more calm and picked my shots and hit him more clear, I would have been able to have this bout stopped, have Eddie Alvarez stopped. But you know, I think referee's decision was correct because Eddie Alvarez was moving, and you know he was even talking that he's fine. So you know, I think his decision was correct, and I just think I should have picked my shots a bit more.
And based on one scoring, it seemed pretty clear cut that you won the fight, especially based on the damage you did in the first and again in the third. But were you pretty confident in the decision once the fight was over?
원 챔피언십의 룰로 따지면은 이거는 당연히 옥래윤 선수님이 이기신 게 맞았다고 기자님도 그렇게 생각한다고 원 룰은 다르니까.
네.
근데 옥래윤 선수님은 어떻게 생각하시냐고 이게 확실히 이겼다고 장담을 하셨냐고.
큰 데미지를 준 쪽이 이긴 거라고 하면은 제가 무조건 이겼다고 생각하고요. 그리고 뭐 에디가 뭐 저를 케이지에 등지게 만들고 케이지에서 컨트롤한 거는 있지만 저에게 데미지를 준 게 없기 때문에 뭐 컨트롤한 시간이 많아서 많은 게 이겼다고 한다면 제가 진 게 맞겠지만 데미지를 준 쪽이 이겼다고 하면은 제가 이겼던 게 확실한 것 같습니다. You know, I believe that if, like, you know, one championship scoring criteria, damage is one of the highest in scoring criteria, and I believe I gave him more damage. So if it's one championship rule set, I believe I won the bout. It is true that Eddie Alvarez kept the pressure. He pushed me
he pushed me against the circle. You know, he tried to wrestle with me, but I defended almost everything. Even if he took me down, I got up in a few seconds. You know, so I believe I won the bout.
Last one for me, you know, considering this win and the win you had, you know, in the previous event, and considering where Christian Lee is at in this division, do you believe you should be next for the championship?
이제 크리스찬 리 선수가 상대가 이제 다 이겼고 이제 2연승까지 하셨는데 크리스찬 리 선수의 다음 도전자는 당연히 옥레인 선수라고 생각하시나요?
크리스찬 리가 어째 1, 2, 3, 4위 다 이겼기 때문에 다음은 뭐 제가 뭐 5위도 이겼고 레전드 알바도 이겼기 때문에 뭐 제가 도전해도 된다고 생각하지만 그 크리스찬 리가 지금 출산을 앞두고 있다 하더라고요. 그래서 그 축복 같은 시간을 제가 방해할 수는 없으니까 그 시간을 행복하게 보내고 그 뒤에 시간이 되면 저랑 바로 붙었으면 좋겠습니다.
Yes, I do believe that I'm next for Christian Lee because Christian Lee cleared out the division except me. He beat number 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm the only guy he hasn't fought yet. But I know that Christian Lee and his wife are waiting for the baby to be born. And I know that the blessing, it's one of the greatest time of their life. So I hope he enjoys all that time first. I don't wanna get in the way, or I don't wanna bother him in that precious time. So I hope he enjoys all that time, and then when he's ready to come back, you know, I'll be ready. So, you know, I hope I'll be the next one for Christian Lee.
Thank you for that. Our next question will go to Chris Mancuso of Tops Off Sports. Chris Mancuso, please go ahead. Chris, can you hear us? Chris? We're going to move on now. We're going to go to the next media here. Leon Jennings from Asian Persuasion MMA. Leon, please go ahead.
Hey, congratulations. When I spoke to Christian Lee after he beat Timothy Nastyukhin, he kind of implied that he wouldn't fight again till the end of the year. Would you rather wait that long for a title shot if you are next in line, or would you rather take a fight in the meantime?
그 크리스찬 리 선수가 이제 그 마지막 경기를 이기고 나서 인터뷰를 했을 때 애기 때문에 올해 말까지는 그래도 쉬고 싶다, 쉴 수 있다면은 그렇게 얘기하는데, 만약 그 크리스찬 리의 그 소원이 이루어지게 돼서 올해 말까지 쉬게 이제 원 챔피언십에서 내버려두면은 옥레인 선수님도 그렇게 길게까지 기다릴 생각이 있으시냐고, 아니면은 그 전에 그래도 한 명이랑 더 싸우고 싶으시냐고 물어보고 싶다.
뭐 기회가 된다면 뭐 싸우겠지만 지금은 뭐 크리스찬 리 기다리는 시간이 얼마나 될지 모르겠네요. 그래서 뭐 연말이면 너무 늦은 것 같아가지고 한 경기 더 해도 되고 아니면 뭐 기다려도 되고 뭐 원 챔피언십에 따르겠습니다. 네.
He doesn't really, you know, care about the, you know, what, like he whatever happens, it's okay with him. He wants to listen and follow to whatever one championship wants him to do. He believes that end of the year is a bit late. Like it's too much of a waiting time for him. So he is willing to fight, you know, one more before Christian Lee. But like what he said, if one championship wants Rae Yoon to wait for Christian Lee and fight at the end of the year, it's okay with him.
What are your thoughts on Christian as a champion? And if you were to take one more fight in the meantime, is there anyone particular you think you'd match up well with or would be ideal for you to face?
두 가지 질문이 있는데, 하나는 크리스찬 리 선수에 대해서 어떻게 생각하시는지, 두 번째는 한 경기를 더 뛰어도 괜찮다고 하셨는데 만약 연말이라고 하면 너무 오래 기다리시니까 상대는 누구 생각하고 계신지, 만약 그냥 아무나 고를 수 있다고 치면 가정하에.
크리스찬 리는 아직 젊고 계속 경기마다 계속 성장하는 선수 같아요. 그래서 뭐 저번 경기보다는 이번 경기가 더 성장했다고 느껴지고, 뭐 근력이라든지 스피드 이런 게 조금씩 성장하는 것 같아요. 그래서 아주 진짜 좋은 선수인 것 같아가지고 제가 꼭 붙어보고 싶습니다. 그리고 또 뭐 당연히 지금 한 경기를 더 해야 된다고 하면은 랭커에 들어있는 선수랑 해야겠죠. 1, 2, 3, 4위 중에 한 명이랑 해야 될 것 같은데 그 선수 뭐 아무나 다 괜찮습니다. 그리고 뭐 네. 근데 그 다 선수들이 다 그 크리스찬 리한테 졌기 때문에 진 선수끼리 하는 거 아니면 제가 뭐 할 필요는 없어 보이지만 뭐 원챔에서 뭐 하라고 하면은 할 의향도 있습니다.
I believe Christian Lee is young, and the scary thing about him is that every fight he improves so much. So this fight, he's better than the last fight. The next fight, he's better than this fight. You know, he always improves so much. So, you know, that's the scary thing about Christian Lee. And regarding the opponent, I'm fine with anyone on the top 5 rankings. But at the same time, like what I mentioned, they all lost to Christian Lee already. So I don't really feel why I have to compete with them first, since, you know, like I'm the only guy in the top 5 that Christian Lee didn't beat yet. But if one championship tells me that I have to fight one more and it has to be one of the top 5 ranked guys, it's okay with me. I'll listen to one championship.
Well, lastly, you've had an amazing month. What are you going to do to celebrate?
예, 한 달 너무 다사다난하셨고 진짜 대단한 한 달이셨는데 어떻게 파티하실 거냐고, 어떻게 축하하실 거냐고.
아직 그렇게 막 실감이 많이 안 나가지고 어떻게 파티해야 될지 그것도 아직 잘 모르겠어요. 근데 돌아가 보면 이제 점점 이제 그 느낌이 돌아오겠죠. 그래서 이제 저희 많이 도와주신 이제 뭐 그 코너 돌아오신 경록이 형이나 그리고 이제 마이클 다 같이 뭐 파티 그냥 할 계획 한번 세워보겠습니다.
I don't really know what I'm gonna do because like I said, I don't even know if this is real, you know. I still don't know if this is real. So, you know, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But, you know, my corner, my team, everybody who helped me a lot, you know, when I go back to Korea, I think I'm really gonna feel it. You know, I'm really gonna feel that I just beat Eddie Alvarez and Mara Gafurov in a span of 1 month. So I'll plan something. I'll plan something for sure.
Very real, very well deserved. Enjoy whatever you do.
많이 즐기시라고 합니다.
감사합니다. Thank you.
Our next question will go to Dylan Bowker of My MMA News.
Hey there, appreciate you guys making some time here. I'm just kind of curious because, as has been discussed in the scrum so far, like very close to finishing Eddie in that opening frame, like how did Oak maintain that composure through the remaining 2 rounds? Because I imagine there was a lot of adrenaline going on in that first round exchange.
1라운드에 그렇게 좀 흥분한 모습을 보여주셨어요. 이게 끝낼 수 있어서.
네.
근데 2, 3라운드에는 또 다시 침착하게 돌아오셨단 말이죠. 아드레날린이 몸에서 되게 막 막 넘쳤을 텐데 어떻게 그렇게 침착함을 유지하셨는지 2, 3라운드에.
1라운드에 솔직히 조금 더 침착하면서 때렸으면 피니시까지 낼 수 있었는데 상대가 레전드 에디라다 보니까 조금 더 빨리 끝내고 싶어서 흥분했던 것 같아요. 그래서 1라운드 막바지에 한 번 더 몰아붙여보고 2, 3라운드에 그 에디가 조금 더 체력이 올라온 것 같은 그런 느낌을 받았어요. 그래서 이거는 좀 침착하게 경기를 다시 임해야겠다 싶어가지고 네, 다시 그랬던 것 같아요.
You know, I believe on the first round, if I picked my shots more and if I was a bit more calm, I could have finished the fight. But my opponent was Eddie Alvarez. He's a legend. So I wanted to. I got too excited and wanted to finish him a bit quicker, you know, and that's the reason why I couldn't finish him. And on the second and third round, I saw Eddie Alvarez recovered, and actually his stamina looked like he was recovering also from the stamina and from the damage. So I woke up and then I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to be calm again. I'm gonna have to, you know, bring it down a bit and then you know, focus.
And also a big facet of the fight I was picking up on was Oak's ability to get up very quickly from the takedowns Eddie was able to very briefly get, if you could even, you know, categorize them as takedowns. Like what does Oak credit to, you know, that part of his game in terms of like sparring partners shoring up the defensive wrestling?
그 옥내훈 선수님이 테이크다운을 당하자마자 계속 일어나는 그 수비 그리고 그래플링 실력, 이거에 굉장히 놀랬다는데 도대체 스파링 파트너는 누구고 그 어떻게 훈련을 하시길래 그런 게 나오시는 건지.
일단 팀에 그래플링 잘하시는 선수들이 너무 많아요. 그 원 챔피언십에 있는 배명호 선수도 있고, 뭐 옛날 지금 UFC에 갔다 오신 그 마동현 선수, 그리고 강경호 선수 다 그래플러가 능하신 선수들이기 때문에 항상 뭐 비벼오고 이렇게 해서 뭐 그런 뭐 케이지 레슬링이라든지 레슬링 디펜스에 대해서는 뭐 그런 부담감이 없습니다. 네.
In our team, we have a lot of great grapplers and wrestlers. A few of them would be one championship athlete, Bae Myung-ho, the Wolverine. The other guy would be a former UFC fighter, the Maestro, Dong-hyun Ma, and Mr. Perfect, Kyung-ho Kang, who's also in the UFC right now. And also, Korean Superboy. All of those guys are in Team Mad. I have such great partners. So I was very confident in my preparation, and I was ready for anything.
It was a comprehensive performance, and I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, Oak and Michael. Unfortunately, Oak has to leave now, so we're gonna let him go.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Members of the media, unfortunately, Eddie Alvarez will not make today's post-event interviews. So at 1:15, we will have Jackie Buntan joining us. We will see you at 1:15.
What's up, people in the chat? So we've got 15 minutes until Jackie Buntan turns up. So if you got any questions, just do it. If you got any comments, please throw them in. Help me fill the time here. Otherwise, I'll see you in 15 minutes at 1:15. But yeah, interesting from Chatri there, I thought. He said he was disappointed in Eddie Alvarez's performance. I asked him if he thought Eddie maybe should try and move down to featherweight, because there's some good matches there if Eddie could possibly get that weight. Yeah, he didn't seem to think that's possible, just because of how big Eddie is in terms of the weight already. So, yeah, he suggested maybe Eduard Folayang could fight Eddie again. Really difficult to see where Eddie Alvarez goes from here in one championship. It has not really played out how he would have wanted or expected it to play out. That's an understatement. you know, he's one fight and 4 here. He had 3 losses. One was overturned to a no contest. That DQ obviously against Jerry Lapis. But he's been knocked out by Timothy on his debut, and he just lost what I thought was a clear decision for Rae Yoon. Some fans, it looks like, are unhappy with the decision. I don't know why. I think it was a clear win for Oak. I mean, Oak said, I got some quotes from him here. I believe that in one championship scoring criteria, damage is one of the highest things. I believe I gave him more damage, so if it's one championship rule set, I believe I won the bout. It's true, Eddie kept the pressure. He pushed me against the circle. He tried to wrestle with me, but I defended everything. Even if he took me down, I got up in a few seconds. I believe I won. Rae Yoon also called for Christian Lee next in a very respectful way. He said, you know, I know Christian and his wife are waiting for the baby to be born, and that's a blessing, one of the greatest times of their lives. So I hope he enjoys that first. I don't want to get in the way or bother him. Hope he enjoys it. When he's ready to come back, I'll be ready. And then he says he doesn't want to wait too long. If it's the end of the year, he'd be happy to fight someone in the top 5 if one wants to do that, but he doesn't think he needs to get another win. He thinks he deserves the next shot purely because Christian's already beat everyone else in the top 5. So here's Chris. Eddie doesn't want to come on. What do you read into that? I think Eddie's just very, very disappointed in himself, probably. Either that or he's angry. I can't think he believes he deserves the win. Maybe he does. It's probably just frustration, and you know, after the month he's had, I don't blame Eddie for not wanting to do half an hour with media. Understandable. Let him lick his wounds. He'll probably jump on Ariel next week. We'll get his side of things. I wasn't too excited to ask Eddie any questions today. He would have probably been pretty pissed off. So yeah, it's a shame we didn't get Eddie's perspective though. I would like to hear what he thinks happened and whether he put it down to the long travel he's been doing, or did he underestimate Oak? Yeah, this is a mystery, isn't it? What's going on with Eddie in one championship? What do you think about Ong's loss? Asks Yen. Look, he gave a much better performance. He showed how much he'd improved on the ground in just 6 months, so that was very admirable. And I'm sure having a bit more strength and muscle helped him defend those takedowns, because Reinier was probably 5 kg underweight for this. Just there was nothing he could do. Reinier was just too good on the ground. You know, it's a fight, but it's not just a stand-up fight, because you know, Reinier showed he's expert at that level. If they somehow stayed on the feet, I think Ong could have probably caught him, but Reinier just didn't give him that chance. He shot within 3 seconds, I think, and took Aung La down at will. I think Ong can be proud of the performance, especially the 5th round. He managed to, you know, turn it around and get on top. Delivered a few shots, but I don't think Reinier was ever in trouble of being finished. A shame for Ong. You know, it's a big platform on TNT, and I'm sure he wanted to make a big statement and get a big win for the Myanmar people back home. But I'm sure they're all still proud of him. Hopefully we're going to hear from Aung La a little bit later. Will Aung La and Folayang be the only 2 losers to come on, or will Buntan? Buntan did not lose, Chris. This is a cheeky comment. What? I can't even remember. I thought she won. Yeah, she got the majority decision. I'm not making it off in my head, so against Van der Yever. So, if you meant Van der Yever, I'm not sure if she's coming on. I know Buntan is coming on. She's next at 1:15. Do you think if he had a full camp for de Ridder, he could win? Definitely think there was not much upside taking this fight on short notice. He prepared for specifically for Vitaly Bigdash. But as de Ridder said in his pre-fight interview, it's not like Aung La has not been kind of working on his ground game over the last 6 months. So in that way, he has been preparing for Reinier, and he has talked about wanting to do that match again, before this one. So I don't think it would have made too much difference. It could have helped, but I don't think we'll ever see it now, which sucks for Aung because, can he ever win a title in one again? I'm not sure now. As long as de Ridder's holding them, we know how that match goes every time. So maybe de Ridder might, if he can win the heavyweight title, which, let's be honest, he really could. Brandon Vera was beaten by Aung La N Sang in the second round. Aung La knocked Brandon out, so in theory, if you do MMA maths, de Ridder's got a great chance against Vera. See, if Vera is fighting Arj Singh Bular today. It's going to be pre-recorded and shown on the 15th of May. So we'll see if Vera gets past Bular. But you've got to fancy Rainier's chances for that. If it's Brandon, I mean, I don't know how he matches up against Bular, but dude is not lacking confidence, and he packs on that muscle. We see what he can do there. Could be the first, not the first. Would he be the first 3-weight champion in one? I think Martin tried to do it, didn't he? But he fell short in that bantamweight fight against Viviano. But yeah, that could be more history for de Ridder. And Chatri seemed open to the idea of doing that fight, and he said he's built up that division, so that might play into it. He's got a bunch of signings there, like Reug Reug and Amir Ali Akbar. So who knows? If I'm one, I'll book that, and then I just go all in on RDR. This guy could be a superstar. He talks well. He talks a good game. He's got a lot of confidence. I think he could bring a lot of eyes from the West onto the product because he's not shy, and he's a funny dude and very damn good in the cage. RDR is the Khabib of one. He just mauls his opponents every time. I kind of see what you mean, Dan, but I think Khabib was a little more vicious with his striking on the ground, and I think RDR, striking isn't there, the striking threat, and he's no slouch striking, but it's more deadly with the submission game, and that's fine. There's no problem with that. Khabib for me is just a little bit more kind of violent, if that makes sense. He will maul you, like you say. You do point out he didn't do against Leandro. I mean, how good was Leandro then to avoid this kind of mauling, this overpowering that Aung La just had the last two fights? I think Leandro should probably get a rematch at some point. That went to a decision, and de Ridder said he never wants to fight him again, but I think he was joking, and he knows he might have to. But he trained with Leandro before the first Aung La fight, and they are friends, so maybe they'll do that. But de Ridder's got business up in heavyweight now, it looks like. And who knows when he'll actually get around to defending that middleweight title again. It could be a year or two. And holding 3 belts, it's going to be very difficult because of the challenges with weight. He might get the third, and then maybe he relinquishes that middleweight one. And that might be a way for Aung to kind of get another title again. I'm sure Juan would love to have Aung as a champ again. And I don't think Aung could beat de Ridder, and it's no slight on Aung. It's just doesn't have the style to do it, and I'm not sure many people do. I think Leandro has done the best we've seen. Interesting stuff. Mary saying there's 2 types of strength on the ground and standing up. De Ridder is crazy strong on the ground. Yeah, this was a backpack on Aung La the whole fight, almost the full 5 rounds. Very, very impressed. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, can't hear me well over One's background music. I think I can turn it off. Just a little bit scared to mess with the buttons. It's quite loud, isn't it? Let me see what I can do. I'm scared. Oh shit! I'm scared if I press something mixed that I may not be able to go back in and ruin the whole thing. But I can't remember the button I have to press to get out of this. Let me know if it's too loud. I'll figure it out. But I'll try and continue otherwise. Just speaking over it. I can't actually remember how to turn it off without closing it. Not the best when it comes to technical stuff. Anyway, yeah, sorry, Vic, not much I can do. What do you think of Kane's? Oh, now I'm frozen. What the hell happened there? I'm gonna have to disconnect my mic. There we go. Back. Okay. Sorry. What do you think of Kane's TKO loss? People on Twitter are saying he pulled an Aljamain Sterling. Well, yeah, we had a bit of debate in the Fight Companion earlier about whether he was faking it. I don't think. Why would he fake it? To try and get a DQ win? I suppose if you go with that argument, it's he thought in the back of his head, I'm gassing out here. I may not win this fight. If it goes to a decision, I can get a DQ, stay undefeated. That's a possibility. I don't think Reug Reug, that's in his character. Seems like an upstanding man. So I think it's just one of those that if you get punched in the throat, it does hurt, and you feel that you can't breathe. Maybe he was milking it. I don't think so. If you do get hit there, it hurts like hell. We'll have to see. Chatri, what did Chatri say? He commented on it. So let me try and find those words. Here you go. It was a very disappointing fight overall, and a disappointing end to the fight. I'm not sure exactly what happened, what was going on in Reug Reug's mind, but he said he was truly hurt. But the blow was at the bell, so it wasn't an illegal blow. He said it was illegal, and after the bell, so he had to check the tape. It didn't look particularly hard punch, but these things just at weird angles can inflict damage. I don't know. I haven't got an update on his situation right now. Okay. Yeah, I think more importantly, it was just another dud, wasn't it, to start the card, the live show. You know, same as the one on TNT1. They had that thing with the DQ with Eddie, and now they had this, and they've got dead time to fill again. I'm sure Chatri would have been pissed. So, yeah. Any thoughts on Yuri versus Reyes? Yeah, I think picking Yuri for that one, Mary. And we had a very good interview on our channel with Yuri from Andrew Whitelaw. Go check it out if you haven't already. SCMP MMA. Very good interview. I like Yuri. He's a character. He seems to have a lot of fans. The video is blowing up on our channel. Got like 10,000 views or something. Yeah, have a look. He seems to be a popular dude, and he seems to be catching on with fans. And he's got an awkward fight style. I don't know though. You got to keep your hands up against Dominic Reyes for sure. So, can Reyes find that opening? Let's see, man. We'll do a preview of it maybe, Mary, tomorrow or something. I don't know. Yeah, done. De Ridder, Leandro, kind of talked about it briefly already, but I think they should do that rematch. Just depends on what weight class and when. I mean, theoretically, Vera's going to fight today. Maybe they do the winner of that against De Ridder in the late summer, and then I'm sure De Ridder. He said yesterday or this week, you know, he wants to be very active now and fight every 3 months. And why not? Because he's not taking any damage in there, is he? He's not like he has to recover. So the dude wants money, and I think he's going to become one of one's biggest stars potentially. He can fight for sure, and he can talk. You know, I think he's still got a part-time job as a physiotherapist, so I think Reinier is looking at the opportunities here and thinks, you know, if I go and win 3 titles, it's going to make me even more rich, you know. And yeah, I think maybe we can get a Leandro rematch by the end of the year. They could do that at light heavyweight, because really there is no one in the I don't even know another name really in the light heavyweight division. I guess Ken Hasegawa was the last person Aung La defended against before Brandon Vera. Dylan Bowker. Dylan's waiting like me for the resumption. Oh, here they are. Yeah, I think they're coming back, so I'll gladly mute myself again.
Welcome back to the one on TNT4 post-event interviews. We are now joined by Jackie Buntan. Jackie's now coming off of an impressive unanimous decision victory over Ekaterina Vandryeva. Jackie, congratulations on your second win here in One Championship. How's it feeling?
Good. Thank you. I mean, it's great to have the momentum and be back here 2 months later.
You spoke about how you were surprised at how Ekaterina was able to use her range this time around. Is that why you started off slow in the first round?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with all my fights, I kind of start off a bit slow to kind of see what I'm working with, but I definitely was a bit slower this time around, trying to find my range, and she did a great job keeping me at bay.
Now, speaking about that, this One Championship Super Series rule set is a 3-minute, 3-round rule. Is that something you need to get used to?
You know, and back in the States, in my amateur fights, they're all pretty much 3 rounds also. So I'm used to the pacing, but this time around, I think I had to pick it up a bit more. I started off a bit slow. I think if this fight were to go 5 rounds, it would have been better. I wouldn't have a more clear shot as to who won. It wouldn't be as so close.
Jackie, we got questions from the media now. This first one is from Conan Altatis of Conan Daily. Conan, the floor is yours. Conan, can you hear us?
Yes, hello, Jackie.
Hi.
Hello. Hi. Right after the announcement of the decision, it looks like Ekaterina was shaking her head. Were you able to talk to her after the fight?
No, I wasn't able to talk to her after the fight. We were, exited out pretty quickly.
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hello? Conan, are you still with us?
Do you agree that it was a very close fight?
Yeah, I agree it was a close fight, but I do think I was able to pick it up, especially in the last round, and score more shots that actually landed. I feel even though maybe she had a bit, I have to rewatch the fight. I'm going off of what I remember, but I feel like she may have been throwing more, but I was missing a whole lot of her shots, whereas the shots I was throwing were landing. So I think that was the greater factor.
All right. Congratulations, Jackie. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Conan. Our next question will go to Leon Jennings of Asian Persuasion MMA.
Hey, Jackie, congratulations.
Hi, thank you.
Now the fight's been over with. Was there a little bit of added pressure going into it after such an amazing debut performance?
Yeah, I think there was some added pressure, and I think all of that pressure was from me, myself, putting it on myself. But I was able to kind of snap out of it pretty quickly. I think just having such a great debut, I wanted to make sure that I keep that momentum going.
Have you spoke to Janet since the fight, and if so, what did she say?
Yeah, I spoke with her. She of course was excited and super proud to see me doing what I love to be doing, especially on the big stage of One Championship.
Lastly, is there any stopping Boxing Works? Between you and Janet, you're on a tear in One Championship.
I don't think there's anyone who can stop boxing works.
Right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leon. This next one will go to Ivan Stewart of Dugout Philippines. Ivan Stewart, please go ahead.
All right. Good afternoon, Jackie. Okay. So, in connection to Conan's question earlier, were you surprised that the judges called it a majority decision for your win? Or were you expecting to be more like unanimous or split?
I guess not really surprised because I know it was a close fight. I feel like it could have went either way, but like I mentioned before, I think I scored the clear shots that were landing, which helped me out with the scorecards to go in my favor.
So what's next? A world title shot or what's gonna happen down the line?
I have no idea, but one championship knows I'm here to get some new bling around my waist. So however many fights they want to give me, I'm in no rush, but I'm looking for that one world title shot, definitely.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Johnny.
Thank you. This next one will go to Kevin Estrada of Burn Sport. Kevin, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Please go ahead.
Jackie might ask about that. You're having a hard time with Barbie being taller than you. So you really had to get in close. So how do you sense that? How do you sense her vulnerabilities throughout the fight?
Coming into the fight, we knew that she had a greater height advantage over me, especially with like Wonder Girl. Wonder Girl was taller, but Ekaterina is a lot taller. So I did practice that throughout my camp, but Ekaterina definitely changed it up a bit, played it smart with keeping me at bay, not getting into my punching range. So whenever I would come in, she'd either have something waiting for me or she'd back out to where I couldn't score my shots.
A follow-up question: Are you kind of watch the upcoming all-women fight card in One Empower? Although it's MMA and not the Super Series, are you excited for that card?
Oh, definitely. I mean, especially having a Grand Prix with all women, who can't be a fan of that?
And my final question on who do you want to pick among the 8 of them if you had that choice?
Oh man, that's a good question. I think I'd have to go with Stamp. She looked good at her last MMA bout, and I'm a fan of hers, so I'd hope she'd take the win.
Thanks, Gianni. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jackie, this next one is from Phil Starr. The question is this. You're representing the U.S., but you're also Filipino. Do you see yourself also bannering the Philippines in MMA? How does that part of your heritage motivate you to do well in the circle?
I will not be doing MMA, only Muay Thai. But yeah, I mean, I was born and raised in the U.S., which is why I represent the United States. But I'm Filipino. I have Filipino blood in me, and my sisters and parents were all born there. So it feels amazing having the Filipino nation rocking behind me. It feels great. It definitely adds on to my confidence as a fighter.
There's a large roster of Filipino mixed martial artists in one championship. Do you follow any of them?
I don't follow any of them. I know some of them though, but I know most of them are kind of like the MMA and the MMA game versus like the Super Series.
Right. We got this next question from My MMA News. Dylan Bowker, you're up.
Hey there, I appreciate the time. I'm just kind of curious here with this sophomore effort here, just one where you were able to adapt and make the adjustments. Is that in a way almost more satisfying than the debut effort just because you were able to show the fight IQ and overall ability?
I think so. I mean, I can say I was definitely I could say I was definitely more, happy with my performance, my debut, but I was definitely also happy with this performance because, like you said, I was able to adjust. Even though it was in the later rounds, I was able to adjust and score more and get the win.
And also, you were referencing aspirations earlier for garnering some gold. I'm curious, has one communicated to you any path towards a world title from here on out at all?
They haven't. Like, I know my division's still fairly new, the strawweight division, so I'm not really sure how it's all going to go down, but I think I'm making it clear I'm a serious contender in that division, and that, I think I'll be up for a title shot sooner than later, I hope.
Yeah, you definitely underscored that, and I appreciate the time, Jackie.
Thank you.
Jackie, talk to us about the game plan. It seemed to me like you were circling away from the power side and you're trying to get your punches going with your inside leg kick.
Yeah, so I have a lot of confidence in my speed and my footwork and power, and we knew coming into this fight those would be the greater factors. And with her previous bout with Janet, she pretty much threw the same thing as she threw with me in this fight, like that overhand right to left kick. She was throwing a lot of those, so we had to make sure that I wasn't circling or going into that to my left, going into her right hand. But I think that my feints and footwork were able to get her, especially like the second and later rounds, and that kind of helped open up certain shots for me. I was still having trouble finding my range, so I wasn't landing as much volume as I wanted as compared to my last fight, but I was able to adjust and get a little bit more up close towards the end of the rounds.
Yeah, talk to us about what your coach told you towards the second and the third rounds. It looked like he told you something and you really picked it up from there.
Yeah, he was he was actually referencing, he was just saying, you got to go Rod Tang on her, Rod Tang style, just like guard up and just go straight in, because it was very close. So I'm a counter fighter, a technical fighter. I don't really do that too much, but I knew that it was a close fight and I had to pick it up. So I pretty much had to listen to him, of course. And it's funny, like, of course he knows what he's talking about, right? So that definitely helped me out, just being able to rush in with my guard up high and score my shots.
Your team Boxing Works has found a lot of success recently. Can you talk us through the whole process? When you get an opponent, do you go through film together? And then when you spar, when you train together, do you specify for that one opponent?
Yeah, definitely. So like I mentioned before, I don't really like to watch too much tape on my opponents. I just think I'll get too much into my head and overthink. But my coach will probably he'll definitely send us some of their previous bouts, and if we want to watch it, we could watch it. He, of course, watches it all, and he comes up with that game plan. And then we worked together. We're like, okay, look, he tells us this is what's going to work. I know it's going to work. So we pretty much work that throughout the whole camp and make sure it's coming out and the times it's supposed to come out, especially during sparring.
Talk to us about the whole amateur scene in America where you and Janet Chad herself are a big part of. Do you guys still actively help out in that area?
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, there's no amateur fights going on in California due to COVID, but they're starting to open up in different states in the U.S. So a lot of people are able to get work out in the tournaments. And we have one of my teammates, actually, she's competing in an amateur tournament later this week. So we definitely love to always help out the amateur team and other amateur fighters outside of Boxing Works, because we were them, before.
Now, I got to ask you about your training partner, Janet Todd. You guys seem to be very close. What's next for her? Have you guys talked about it?
We haven't talked about it. I know, she's looking for that Muay Thai belt, which I believe, I don't know yet, but I believe she'll be up for that shot soon, given her last win, which was a fantastic win. I don't know if they're going to go through the route of giving her that Muay Thai title shot next or defending her kickboxing belt next. But whatever it is, I know she's going to be ready for it.
Talk to us about this travel situation that you got to fly in. You're flying back to San Diego. Is it San Diego where you guys are based?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. Has it been hard to get over that jet lag when you compete? Do you feel that?
No, not really. It's funny, like coming here, I'm able to adjust fairly quickly. It's always like going back home where I feel like a zombie. I get super jet lagged when I go back home to LA. But coming here to Singapore, I'm able to adjust pretty well. I don't really have problems with it.
Big victory for you. How do you celebrate it after this win?
I ate some brioche French toast. That was the best way I could celebrate it, especially during a quarantine.
All right. One more question before we let you go. When you get home to LA, what are you doing?
Oh man, I'm just gonna have a chill day. I know I arrived back Saturday night, so just in time for Sunday brunch. I live by the beach, so I'll be able to walk my dog with my boyfriend and just have a Sunday where I don't have to worry about, my diet or training or recovery. I could just sleep in, eat, and be a homebody.
What's the first thing you gotta eat when you get home?
Oh man, being in California, I've been craving tacos. So tacos are definitely the number one thing I'm gonna get when I land back.
Jackie, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations again. We'll see you soon.
Thank you so much.
That was Jackie Buntan. We have next joining us the Burmese Python Aung La N Sang. Very interested to hear Aung La's thoughts. Please make sure you have your questions ready for this one. Please stay with us. In a couple moments, we will have Aung La N Sang joining us.
Okay, Aung La is coming up next, so I'll just talk until he turns up, I guess. So, yeah, interesting. We're going to see what Aung La says. Some comments in the chat here. Let me see. Eddie Alvarez doesn't look good since joining one, says Percy. Yeah, it's been a torrid time for Eddie. 1 win in 4. And 3 losses. 1 was overturned to a no contest this week. But, there's a chance it could have stayed a DQ. Would have been 1 win, 3 losses. 1 and 4. That's not what anyone thought Eddie Alvarez would do when he came to one championship. Totally, Percy, says Mary. He made a huge mistake trying to...
Thank you for staying with us.
Anyway,
we are still here at the one on TNT for post-bout interviews. We have now joining us Aung La N Sang. Aung La, my man, not the result you're looking for. How are you feeling right now?
Not the result I was looking. I'm good. Got a little scratch here and there.
Aung La, we got questions here from media from all over the world. I'm gonna open the floor them to you now. The first one will be from Nick Atkin of South China Morning Post. Nick, please go ahead.
Hey, Aung La. Commiserations on the loss. I thought you put up a lot of heart. You showed a lot of improvement, man. Do you feel proud of yourself in some way that you showed such improvement on the ground and against the takedowns and the submissions?
I don't know, man. I need to work a little bit harder. Put a little more time in the ground game. Am I proud? I don't know. I don't think I'm proud of my performance.
I mean, do you feel if you fight De Ridder again, can you beat him? If you had a full camp and you faced Reinier and you focused purely on him, do you think you could change anything?
Of course, that's why we train. I mean, why else would we train if we're not going to get better?
Sure.
I think I need some water. Sorry. Go ahead, Nick. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Cheers, man. Sorry about that. Yeah, and have you thought yet what you want to do next? Any ideas? Maybe take that Big Dash fight, or is that not in your head right now?
Yeah, go back down to middleweight. Stay active for this year. No, I'm not getting younger, so I want to keep improving and getting better. Big Dash trilogy match would be exciting.
And I know you didn't really get a chance to speak in the cage afterwards, but I know that you probably wanted to say something to all your fans back home in Myanmar who are watching you, and there's a lot of them watching now. I've got this on a live stream. If you just have any message you want to give them, what would you want to say?
Sorry I didn't get the win. Pretty upset about that, but people in Myanmar, thank you for the support. Thank you for the love. Keep fighting, keep doing what's right. And, for the authorities there, do what's right. We don't live a long life, and we can't take it to the grave with us. So do what's right.
Okay, thank you so much, Aung La. I really appreciate you taking the time there to speak to me.
Thank you, Nick. Next question will go to Leon Jennings of Asian Persuasion MMA.
Hey, Aung La. You really have nothing to be sorry about. You showed what warrior you were for 25 minutes. You took the fight on short notice. How tough was it going from Vitali to Reinier in less than 1 week's notice of you when you're preparing for Vitali?
I mean, it is what it is. It wasn't tough for me to take the fight because I'm a gamer, you know. I just like to compete and just made adjustments, but not enough.
Obviously, you are disappointed you performed, but like Nick said, your defense on the ground was fantastic against someone who's such a good grappler. He called out, he said he wanted to go up to heavyweight next. How would you see his chances in the heavyweight division?
No, Brendan should fight for the light heavyweight belt against him. I'm going back to middle anyway, so.
Lastly, are there any positives you can take from it? Like I said, I think there's a lot of positives there, but can you see any positive right now, or do you have to go away and maybe have a little break and think about it?
I'm healthy, you know. I didn't take much damage. Besides, you know, a little scratch here and there. I'll be back in training, and I want to do, you know, 2 or 3 more fights this year, if one championship will allow me to. Getting better, you know. I know this was an exciting fight, you know, but it takes 2 to tango. Kept wanting to grapple, so it's kind of, I need to work on that department, you know.
Aung La, look forward to seeing you back again.
Thank you, Leon.
Our next question will go to Jay Anderson of Cage Side Press. Jay Anderson, please proceed.
Aung La, thanks very much. I really appreciate you coming out here after that. I know it's not easy. First of all, I want to go to that arm triangle early in the fight that you got out of. How close was that? Because it did look pretty nasty there for a bit.
It wasn't that tight. His arm triangle wasn't super tight. His Doris isn't super tight. None of his submissions are that tight. But he's got a good backpack. He's got a good hooks. His back take is super tight, you know. Especially when he body triangles, it's hard to move. But as far as like, he has a weird build, you know. His when he goes for that single leg, his head is so tight. But the submissions themselves weren't super tight.
In comparison to the first fight, did you find anything different about him tonight at the higher weight?
Yeah. No, his style is very similar. I was surprised how tight he was, you know, in every position. He didn't give much space at all. Technically very sound on the grappling side, and like his punches went hard, even at a heavier weight. So like he upkicked me real hard, and in the first round he upkicked me pretty hard. He hit me with some good elbows, but he when he had that dart show, he needed me too, but I don't feel like he had that much power.
Last one from me. I mean, you spoke about staying active this year, going back to middleweight. After a fight like this, do you take a little bit of time off first, or are you going to be right back in the gym?
I don't need to. All these, like all this damage is like superficial. Like my hands feel good, everything feels good. So I don't think I need to take much time off.
All right, thanks very much again.
Our next question will go to Hamad Mir of MMA Diagnosis. Hamad, please go ahead. We're going to move on. Next question will go to Ivan Stewart of Dugout Philippines. Ivan, please go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Aung La, okay, in connection to a question earlier, how was the pandemic affected your build-up for this match? Like your training, how was it affected?
I don't think it affected me that much. You know, I stayed in the gym. I mean, the fight week is always off, you know, but it's the same for my opponent too. So I wouldn't blame the pandemic on anything. You know? I don't think it negatively affected me. Although I would like to be a little bit more active, and just a lot of uncontrollables on fight week, and a lot of uncontrollables, you know, during the travel period. But as far as the training goes at the gym, I don't think it affected me that much.
All right. After the fight, Reinier suddenly called out the heavyweight division, so he's now challenging for the heavyweight title. Being someone who previously fought Brandon Vera, do you think he has what it takes to beat Brandon or possibly Arjun, depending on the result of their fight in May?
I think stylistically, Brandon is a bad matchup for him. Brandon's got, you know, great takedown defense. He's I mean, I train with Brandon now. If you remember, you know, he's he did the Greco wrestling almost at Olympic level, you know, Olympic trials level. So and his build is just as tall as him. So stylistically, I don't think it's a good matchup for Reinier. And Reinier is fighting more than he can chew. Reinier is obviously a bad matchup for me, you know. We'll get it back.
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Gianni.
Next question will go to Conan Altatis of Conan Daily.
Hey Aung La, if given the chance, which division would you like to have your rematch with Reinier first? Middleweight or light heavyweight?
No, I'm done with light heavyweight. I'm going down to middleweight after this. No middleweight now.
It looks like you had a little talk with him inside the cage after the match. I'm just curious what you said to each other.
I said, thank you for making me a better fighter.
Right. Is it correct to say that you don't like Reinier?
I don't. He doesn't bother me. You know, I mean, as a competitor, you always need somebody to push you. You know, to be a better competitor. Outside of that, you know, he does talk a lot, but he just what it is. He's just trying to sell fights, and he's trying to make a name for himself. So I don't dislike him.
Wish you all the best. I'm sure the whole Myanmar is so very proud of you. Thank you.
We got one last question here from Dylan Bowker of My MMA News. Dylan, please go ahead.
Hey there, Aung La. I appreciate you making some time here. A theme I've heard throughout the scrum here is that middleweight seems to be like the main priority for your last few bouts this calendar year here. How long has just maintaining like a path in one division kind of been on your mind? Like, how long have you been mulling over this?
Since I would say since 2019, you know, when I fought Brandon, it's hard, man. The training camp was just a hard training camp, and at middleweight, it's a easier, like it suits my body a lot better. I didn't have to eat as much, you know. I didn't have to force feed myself to make that light heavyweight weight class. Naturally, I'm not that. My frame isn't, you know, a light heavyweight frame. You know, honestly, I could fight any. I could like I'm down to compete against anybody. But to be the best version of myself, I think middleweight should be the home.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were talking about how the submissions weren't necessarily super tight. I'm curious, was it more of like a, I guess, you know, position over submission, functional strength kind of a thing he brought to the table?
Yeah. His length is always an issue. You know, I've always had issues with longer guys that want to grapple more than strike, because with long guys that want to strike, I close the distance. You know, in striking range against a long guy, you have to close the distance. but this is a long guy that wants to grapple. So it's stylistically, it's a harder matchup for me.
Well, I really appreciate you making some time, Aung La, and yeah, just you enjoy the rest of your night there.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time, Aung La. Rest up. We'll hope to see you real soon.
Yes, sir. See you soon, guys. Peace.
That was Aung La N Sang. We have next joining us in a couple minutes, Reinier de Ridder. Please stay with us. Reinier joins us in a couple moments. Welcome back to the One on TNT4 post-event interviews. We are now joined by the One middleweight world champion and the newly crowned One light heavyweight world champion, the man himself, Reinier de Ridder. How's that feel, my man?
It's all right, man. It's all right. I'm a little tired. It was one hell of a battle, man. Respect to Aung, great fighter, great champion. I'm just happy it's over, man.
7 days notice and you went full 5 rounds. Was there any point where you thought you could not do this?
No, I got the takedown every time, and I was convinced I'm sorry, my Ben & Jerry's is flipping.
What flavor is that?
It's cookie dough, man. You gotta keep it.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. A little bit of whiskey with it. So you gotta live a little, Johnny. Come on.
You deserve it. And then we got questions from media all around the world.
Yep.
First one, we'll go to Jay Anderson of Cage Side Press.
Hey, thanks very much. And Reinier, just a quick question to start. Is that the traditional post-fight snack?
No, usually it's just a lot of beer, but the beer's not cold yet, so we'll start with a little bit of a snack.
Fair enough, man. I want to start with the fight itself. You didn't get to finish tonight, but you did go the distance with a one-sided performance. Are you happy with how things turned out?
Yes, I'm happy. It's fine this way. I would have preferred choking him out, but I got close a couple times. But this is only it's cool to show that I can go 5 rounds. It's cool to show that that I got the cardio, the stamina, that I can take guys down every round, and show my heart, my will on 6 days' notice against a much heavier guy, much improved Aung. So I'm content with what happened here.
Did you really feel the weight difference in there tonight at light heavyweight?
It was very strong this time, and it was a lot stronger than last time. Last time he did everything. His defense was very sound as well, but his defense got even better, and he got a lot stronger. So yeah, it was a bit of a struggle this time. Yeah.
And Aung La says he's done with light heavyweight. He's going to go to middleweight. You called out the heavyweight champ, Brandon Vera. Now, he has a title fight we don't know the result of yet against Arjun Buehler, but does that call out stand regardless of who holds the title?
Yeah, why not, man? Would be cool if it's Brandon Vera, because he's been the champ for a while, and so it'd be cool to take it from him. But why not, man? 2 belts is nice, but 3 belts is better, right?
Fair enough, man. Congratulations on the win, the second title. Best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
The next question will go to Nick Akin of South China Morning Post. Nick Akin, the floor is yours.
Hey, Reinier. Congratulations on that win, man.
What's up? Thank you.
Oh, yeah. It was an impressive performance. You know, I wanted to talk about that Brandon Vera call-out because we just had Aung in here, and Aung thinks that Brandon might be a tough matchup for you just because of his wrestling skills and his takedown defense and the height. He's bigger than Aung. Yeah, how do you think you match up with Brandon stylistically?
That's what they always say, man. Everybody's a tough matchup before they enter the cage with me. Yeah, he's a great striker. His wrestling is all right, but it's not on my level. So it'll be cool, man, to fight for history again, fight for my legacy. I hope we can make that happen.
Aung said he thinks that he could beat you. You know, he's not closing the door on that. You know, he could still make improvements. Do you see if there's any way he could ever beat you, or do you think it would go like this every time?
Well, he definitely improved in 6 months, so he's a much better fighter than he was 6 months ago. All the respect to him. He's a grinder. He got a lot better, a lot stronger. So, as I said, man, I respect the guy like no one else. But I'm happy to put this to bed, man. 2 wins, it's done.
And we're on TNT primetime from one belt collector in AEW, Kenny Omega. You're becoming a bit of a belt collector now in one championship. You know, how much do you think this is going to do for your whole star power and in MMA and just your whole reputation from being maybe a bit of an unknown a year ago? Now you got 2 titles.
It's all right. It would be nice to grow a little bit, but that's not the goal, man. The goal in my mind is to be the best, and I've did it again, and I hope to keep on doing that. That's the most important thing. It's nice to get some star power, some fame, but it's all right. It is what it is.
And I imagine you didn't get to celebrate too much on Tuesday for King's Day. Is the celebration starting now then?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. Thank you so much, and congratulations again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Nick. The next question will go to Leon Jennings of Asian Persuasion MMA.
Hey, Leon.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
I spoke to you before. I think you said you thought you'd have more trouble getting him down to the ground. I get the feeling you were more confident you could submit him quicker. It was almost kind of the opposite way around. You got him down so quickly beginning of every round, and then he survived. Were you so kind of surprised the way the fight played out like that?
Yeah, I was a little sloppy, to be honest. I got him in the darts, I got him in the side choke, I got him in the rear naked choke, and I just didn't get it all the way. But I'm happy the way it unfolded. This bout is going to teach me a lot of tape to watch back, and to evolve my game even further. So I'm happy that I got this challenge this time.
Because you were sitting on a beach with your family a week ago, did you kind of have a little bit of a sense of nothing to lose here, which may have helped you as well?
I got an undefeated record to lose, man. That's the most important thing to me. This has been the goal since the start. I want to be the best. I want to beat everybody who's in front of me. So every bout is as important as the last one.
Do you have the call out the heavyweight champion in mind beforehand, or was that something you just sort of afterwards?
I kind of planned on it. Yeah.
Had it planned? How do you see it going? Brandon Vera versus Arjun Buehler.
I see Brandon Vera winning, but let's see what happens. You know, I'm excited to see the match.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you, Leon.
Thank you, Leon. Next question will go to Chris Mancuso of Tops Off Sports.
Hey, Reinier, congratulations on your win tonight, man. It was fantastic. What kind of mental preparation goes into taking a big title fight like that? I know you've defeated him before, but coming in on such short notice, was there anything different, as going into a fight, where you've had a full camp? What kind of extra measures did you have to take?
It was very different this time. So I put in a lot of focus, a lot of work in the mental department. I do a lot of breath work. With the Wim Hof method, and I do a lot of meditation as well, way I call thought selection. I always do this, but it was a little harder this time. So I didn't have enough time. I didn't have a lot of time to specifically prepare myself for this match. And to be honest, it was a little harder to be as excited for the first time fighting, if you understand. Not to be arrogant or whatever, but I kind of did it before, so it was hard to get up again and be as motivated and as focused as the first time.
Awesome. And last question for you. What kind of whiskey is in that glass there, my friend?
It's the only one I could find on Foodpanda.
Congrats, champ. Good fight tonight.
Reinier, talk to us about that struggle to find motivation for this one. Do you feel like that empty arena has something to do with it? You're motivated by the crowd and.
To be honest, if there's people in the crowd, I usually block that out anyway. So I'm not too focused on the people around. But it was mostly just doing it again with Aung, not having the proper time to get my mental stuff in the right position. But come on, I shouldn't complain. I put another belt on the shoulder. It is what it is.
That's why you're a perfectionist.
Yeah.
We got one more question here. Two more questions. This next one will go to Dylan Bowker. Dylan, please go ahead.
Hey there, Reinier. Appreciate the time. I'm just curious because you mentioned the Wim Hof method there and just, presumably having a measured control of the cardiovascular framework from that. I'm curious, how much does that inform your composure and endurance in MMA competition?
It's one of the most important aspects of my cardio game. So I do the breath work every day, and I use it when I walk out. If you watch back my walkouts, I use the breath work to get my body ready to go, and then between rounds I use the breath work as well to recover. I had the honor to meet Wim a few months ago, and I'm very grateful for the stuff he's put out. It's for everybody. I would advise everybody to check that out.
Yeah, and you mentioned the walkout. How much did the Roy Jones Jr. fire up, workout when you were coming out there? Because that was getting me fired up even. Yeah,
man, I love that song. So I don't try to play it too much in camp so it doesn't get too old. But every match I play it during the walkout. So when I'm backstage and I hear it go, I get a little bit excited to go fight.
Yeah, no, I appreciated that too, man. Congrats on the victory there.
Thank you, sir.
Reinier, this question is from Fight Game Asia. The question is this. You have such a robust style that just works. Do you try to change that by improving on your striking, or are you hesitant to change anything?
No, I think I showed some of my striking as well. It didn't land a strike on the feet. I popped him a few times. I always focus on the striking, but the goal is to showcase my jiu-jitsu. That's what I'm about. That's what I represent. That's what I love. So I'm always there to show that part of my game.
Reinier, this last question is from Conan Altatis of Conan Daily. Conan, please go ahead.
Oh, you pretty much answered everything. Who are the people that you want to thank for helping you prepare for this historic victory?
I've got so many people around me, man. So many people I love. So many people supporting me. I got Gegard Mousasi as one of my main training partners, who I look up to as a fighter. He's taught me so much about the stand-up game, about the wrestling. This guy is a true legend of the sport, and let's say he's a huge part of my success. The people around me, my coaches, Haroon, Hessel, Peter was here. His match didn't materialize this time, but he is one of the best fighters in the world, and he'll show it next time. My wife, my kids, I'm just happy to make him proud again.
Message to Aung La N Sang, please.
I've spoken to him a few times now. I forgot. I forgot one more. My coach Arun. He couldn't make it to the match. He's here in Singapore, but some stuff happened and I couldn't make it to the match. He's in the hospital here right now. A huge part of my game, my success as well. So a message to Aung. I've spoken to him a couple times now in passing, and he's a legend. He's a great fighter. I respect the hell out of him, but I never want to see him inside the cage again.
Right, congratulations, Reinier. The whole of the Netherlands is very proud of you right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Reinier, hopefully the beers are cold by now. Thank you so much for your time. Congratulations again and enjoy this moment.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, everybody in the media. See you guys soon.
That was the one middleweight world champion and the one light heavyweight world champion, Reinier de Ridder. Please don't go anywhere. We got one more athlete before we let you go. Kirill Grishenko joins us in just a couple moments.
Okay, yeah, that was Reinier de Ridder, the new light heavyweight champ, middleweight champ as well. We had Aung before that. Obviously, complete contrast in the emotions those two are feeling. I got to feel a little bit for Aung. You know, he looked very dejected, understandably. It's always tough to ask fighters questions after a loss like that. And a lot of credit to Aung for sitting down and taking all the questions from the media, facing up to the world. He's a class act. He's a true human being. One of the nicest guys I've ever met. I feel sad for him, and I know he's hurting. But then I feel, you know, great for de Ridder. He's also a very nice guy and a great fighter. And see what it means to him there. Exactly, as Chris says, Aung La doesn't need a belt to be a champion. And that might sound corny, but it's true. He is. I don't think you've met anyone in the world who has a bad word to say about him, and that's a cliche, I know, but it's true. It really is true of Aung La. And he sounded like he had a busted lip or something, maybe a tooth. Looked a little rough, but you know, I think it was just, like you said, superficial damage. Anyway, I think they're coming back now with Kirill Grishenko.
Thank you for staying with us. We got one more athlete here. Kirill Grishenko is coming off a second-round TKO win over the Senegalese wrestling sensation Omar Khan. Kirill, thank you so much for your time. How are you feeling after that second-round TKO victory?
Кирилл, приветствую вас. Как себя чувствуете после боя, после победы?
Спасибо, все хорошо. Но, пользуясь моментом, в начале интервью хочу поздравить своего тренера с днем рождения. Сегодня вот преподнес ему такой подарок. Хочу поблагодарить своего промоутера Михаила Лисовского. Хочу поблагодарить моих спонсоров Экотехник и торговый дом БКС. Также хочу поблагодарить свою семью и всех, кто за меня болел и наблюдал. В принципе, после боя чувствую себя прекрасно. Получил минимальное количество ущерба, поэтому чувствую себя хорошо.
Thank you very much. Everything is good. But before I answer the question, I would like to wish happy birthday to my coach. Today is his birthday, and I gave him this victory. And as well as by having this opportunity, I would like to, thank my sponsors as well as my promoter, Mikhail Lizovsky, as well as my family. Thank you very much for the support. Feeling great, feeling awesome after the fight, and happy that it ended in this way.
There was a lot of hype behind Reug Reug. Did you feel like you were being overlooked during the lead-up?
Перед боем все говорили, что все не верили в вашу победу. Думаете ли вы, что все как бы преувеличили, скажем, в этом плане?
Я если честно, я в себя верил всегда, все, кто меня знает, и я знаю свой уровень. Просто мой соперник, скажем так, более был, наверное, раскручен, более у него известен широкому взору зрителей, скажем так. Только поэтому, я думаю, считалось, что я андердог. Но на самом деле я не считал себя андердогом, я настраивался на жесткий бой, и я настраивался доминировать в нем, что и получилось. Я считаю, что я в принципе, не до конца, но свой план выполнил.
To be frank with you, I was confident from the start, and to be to be also like a open with you that I know that my opponent was very promoted and very famous among the fans, but I expected like a hard fight. I expected this to be happen, and as you saw that everything went according to my plan, and then happily I won it.
We're now going to open the floor to the media. Our first question will go to Nick Atkin of South China Morning Post. Nick, please go ahead.
Hey, Kirill, congratulations on the win. Could you just talk us a little bit through what happened at the end there in the fight? Do you know...
Russian.
Да, я переведу сейчас. Он задает вопрос, потом переведу. Go ahead, man. Go ahead, sorry.
Sorry, but yeah, could you just talk a little bit about what happened at the end of the fight with Reug Reug? He got hit and he seemed to think it was after the bell. Do you think the shot was after the bell? And what was going on there?
Расскажи немножко про то, что случилось во втором раунде. Было ли удар после вот звонка вот этого, да, или что произошло? Как откомментируешь?
Удар был во время гонга, и потом уже я, когда приехал в гостиницу, я не раз пересматривал видео, там есть видео повтор с другой стороны, и было на нем видно, что мы одновременно наносили удар во время гонга, и он мне просто плохо попал, а я попал нормально. Но я думаю, после этого удара можно было бы еще провести третий раунд, но как есть, так есть.
To be honest with you, even after the fight, I came to my room and I replayed what happened during the fight. But what I saw that both of us, punched at the same time during the bell. I guess before the bell. But then this has happened, and I'm not sure why he didn't want it to continue to go to the third round. But I guess this is what happened.
And some fans on social media seem to be suggesting maybe that Reug Reug was faking it, was acting it, maybe looking for a DQ loss, a disqualification. What do you think about that suggestion?
Некоторые фанаты думают, что ваш соперник симулировал, хотел дисквалификации. Что думаете по этому поводу?
Ну, честно, точно, я не знаю, я не мой соперник. Я думаю, что, я бы провел бы дальше третий раунд, но, как я сказал, что я не свой соперник, его ощущения я не могу передать и фанатам. Ему только уважение и больше ничего, против него я ничего не имею. Если бы я был на его месте, мне кажется, я бы провел третий раунд просто.
Well, I can't answer this question, to be frank, because I'm not my opponent, but if I would be in his position, I would definitely continue and to fight the third round. I guess this is what happened.
And some people think maybe he got caught on the throat and maybe he couldn't breathe very easily. Maybe that's why he couldn't continue. Do you know if the punch caught him on the throat?
Некоторые фанаты думают, что вы попали ему в горло, и поэтому он не смог дышать, и поэтому перестал. Попали ли вы ему туда, в горло?
Нет, я попал ему в крайнюю часть челюсти, вот сюда. Это я точно не знаю.
No, I clearly remember that I punched him on the chin, so it wasn't the throat.
Okay, and just finally, I wanted to ask, Kirill, what do you want next in this division? Are there any names you want to fight, and who do you think you should fight next?
Последний вопрос, что дальше? Что думаете об этом дивизионе? С кем хотите драться? Может, имена определенные?
В принципе, дивизион неплохой, есть громкие имена, но мне без разницы, кого предложат. У меня есть менеджер, у меня есть тренер, они решают эти вопросы. Мне говорят, я делаю все.
In general, to be frank, I don't really decide. I have my manager, I have my promoter, and I will be waiting for their decision.
Okay, thank you very much, and yeah, congratulations again on the win.
Я прошу прощения, еще хотел бы попросить, поблагодарить организацию One Championship за объективное судейство. На самом деле я считаю реально, что удар был сделан во время гонга. Ну, не после остановки судьи, не после команды судьи. Именно поблагодарить за объективное судейство. Спасибо.
I'm sorry. Last point I would like to say that thank you very much for the one championship and one championship sort of a rational decision that happened. That the judge and as well as the saw that the bell, the punch was before the bell but not after the bell. So thank you very much for the rational decision.
Thank you for that. This next question will go to Leon Jennings of Asian Persuasion MMA.
Congratulations, Kirill. I want to ask you, Reug Reug didn't look like he came out as aggressively as he did in his last fight. Were you a little bit surprised by that?
I'm sorry, could you please repeat the question?
Yeah, Reug Reug didn't look as aggressive as he did last time out in his last fight. Was he surprised by that at all?
Удивился ли ты боем своего соперника?
Да особо не удивился. В принципе, я видел его бои, я рассчитывал, что он будет бороться, но как бы мои первые, сказать так, моя основа, моя база, это тоже греко-римская борьба. Поэтому ничего нового в борьбе он мне показать, в принципе, не мог, и ничем удивлен я не был.
I wasn't surprised, to be frank. I wasn't surprised with my opponent because, I mean, my basics was also a Greek-Roman, and he didn't show something very new to me. So I would say it was same as I was expecting.
Brandon Vera defends his heavyweight title against Arjun Bulla in the one Dangle main event. How do you see that one going down?
Что думаете по поводу боя между Рейнером и Онгла, который произошел после вас?
Ну, да, все бои, в принципе, были конкурентные. Я думаю, все ребята старались, и все получилось, как получилось. Это такой вид спорта, что здесь нужно уважать каждого бойца именно потому, что профессиональный спорт, ММА, тем более любое единоборство, это очень сложно. Поэтому только респект, и, ну, как сложился результат, так сложился.
Honestly, all the fighters did really well in general, but I would say every fighter put his full effort, and as you saw the fight, as it ended, it's supposed to end it this way. So I would say respect to all, both of them, I mean.
Right. I don't know if you saw Reinier de Ridder after he won the light heavyweight title in the main event. He said he wanted to move up to heavyweight to fight for the title there. How do you think he would fare in the heavyweight division?
И после боя вы увидели, что Рейнер захотел драться в тяжеловесе. Что думаете по поводу этого, об этом вызове?
Выбор каждого человека.
It's a choice of everyone, I guess.
Well, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Leon. Our next question will go to Jay Anderson of Cage Side Press.
Thanks very much, and congratulations on the win tonight. Just one from me in this case. It was talked about a little earlier. There was some controversy at the end, and I I think it's clear it was a clean punch, but do you worry that the controversy is going to take away from this win or overshadow it?
Поздравляю вас, во-первых, с боем. И вопрос такой, что есть... Вы думаете ли, что вот обсуждение о том, чтобы удар был после гонга, ну, как сказать, будет более такой вирусный, что ли, что повлияет на, ну, как на справедливость, что ли, в этом бою? Что это просто как-то будет с большим хайпом?
Не знаю, я думаю, все видели, и все могут еще 1000 раз посмотреть повтор и убедиться, что никаких нарушений там не было, но каждый человек – это отдельная личность, и каждый будет по-разному. На меня это лично никак не будет влиять. Я знаю, что я доминировал, и я был лучше, поэтому все хорошо.
Well, I can't say on behalf of everyone. To me, honestly, I saw the fight, and to me, I'm very confident that I punched before the bell, and we have 1,000 people, and we have 1,000 kind of opinions. So my opinion and my team saw that, and we are very clear on that. So I guess it is what it is.
Gotcha. Well, appreciate it. Thanks very much for the win.
Next question will go to Chris Mancuso of Top Soft Sports. Chris, please go ahead.
Hey, congratulations on the win tonight. Now, we had a strange year with the pandemic and everything. How active do you plan to be moving forward? Do you plan to have a lot of activity the rest of the year?
Поздравляю с боем еще раз. Как вы знаете, сейчас период пандемии, сложное время. Как вы думаете о своем, как скажем, о следующем бою? Насколько вы собираетесь быть активным в этом году?
Как можно активнее собираюсь быть. В принципе, как будут предложения, будут бои, я всегда готов драться. Только это согласуется с моим тренером, с моим менеджером, и мы уже решаем, сколько нам понадобится времени на подготовку. Единственный вопрос по времени, когда я буду драться.
Well, as active as I can be, as long as I have the offers, as long as I have the fights, I'm really happy, to go to the fight. But of course, I have to communicate that with my managers and as well as with my promoters. So as long as I have enough time for my training, I'm happy to go.
Thanks.
Our next one will be from Ivan Stewart of Dugout Philippines.
Thank you, Gianni. Good afternoon, Kirill. Okay. So you just gave Omar his first loss in his MMA career, but he still got to fight 3 weeks ago. So do you think the stamina became a factor in this fight?
Поздравляю вас еще раз с боем. Это первое поражение соперника. Я так понял по вопросу, что он дрался 3 недели назад. Как вы думаете, повлияло ли это, наверное, на поражение его?
Я думаю, примерно у нас одинаковая форма была, потому что также 3 недели назад я приезжал в Сингапур и должен был драться здесь с другим соперником. Но у него, как нам сказали, был коронавирус. Был положительный тест на коронавирус. И мы здесь провели все время, получается, и только после боя нам сказали, что будет бой 29 числа, что мы полетели опять домой, опять дома поддерживали форму и опять же прилетели сюда. То есть у нас условия были абсолютно одинаковые с ним. У него был тоже бой в эти сроки, 8 числа, по-моему.
I think we have, in my opinion, we had similar conditions. I also flew 3 weeks ago, and I was prepared for my fight, but my opponent unfortunately got positive COVID, and then I flew back to my country, and then I was offered to fight end of this month, so I flew back again, and in terms of conditions, I think we had pretty similar.
All right. So with this win, do you think you're now primed for a shot at Brandon Vera's title? And if not yet, what will you work on to get there?
После этого боя, если у вас не будет боя за титул, какой бой вы бы хотели, ожидали бы?
Да, любой.
Doesn't matter, anything.
All right. Thank you very much, Kirill. Congratulations. Thank you, Gianni.
Thank you, Ivan. We have one last question here. This one will go to Conan Daly. Conan, you have the floor.
Hi, Kirill. Now at 4-0, which one is more important to you? To keep your undefeated record or to have as many fights as possible?
Кирилл, у вас уже 4-0. Что для вас важнее? Больше драться, либо же оставаться непобежденным?
Да не знаю, как-то не задумывался. Я просто только начал этим заниматься. Мне это очень нравится. И, конечно, я хочу быть непобедимым. Посмотрим, как дальше будет. Я буду прилаживать все усилия, буду тренироваться, поднимать свой уровень и становиться только лучше. И надеюсь, что моя победная серия протянется очень долго.
Well, honestly, I never thought about it. I keep training, I keep fighting, and I try to improve my skills on every aspect. And hopefully, by growing, I can keep my undefeated series.
Okay. After fighting Reug for 2 full rounds, how do you describe his fighting skills?
I'm sorry, could you please repeat the question?
After fighting Reug Reug or Omar for 2 full rounds, how do you describe Omar's fighting skills?
После того, как вы дрались 2 раунда, как бы вы описали уровень вашего соперника?
Физически одаренный человек, но ему еще очень много работать над ударной техникой, по крайней мере. В борьбе, да, в борьбе он может где-то более-менее контролировать, но я думаю, все это видят, все понимают, ударная техника.
Physically, he's really strong. I would say that he has a really good wrestling, but everyone saw that his striking is really weak, and I would suggest him to improve in that.
Okay, last question, please. One Championship's heavyweight division is a little crowded as compared to the light heavyweight division. You mentioned that it's usually it's up to your promoters and managers, but if it was your choice, would you be open to competing in the light heavyweight division and possibly face Aung La N Sang there?
Как вы заметили, в тяжелом весе очень много бойцов на данный момент, и вы уже сказали, что ваши менеджеры и ваши промоутеры решают о следующем ваших боях. Как вы думаете, с вашей точки зрения, вы бы спустились бы на один дивизион ниже, легкий тяжеловес, и подрались бы вы с Aung La, например?
Да нет, у меня мой вес, рабочий вес 116, 115 килограмм для меня, скажем так, я никогда не гонял, и для меня это тяжело, наверное, будет. Поэтому нет, я хочу остаться здесь и как бы здесь достичь всех своих высот и результатов.
No, to be frank, no, because I always been in the weight of 115, 116 kg, and I never in my entire life caught the weight. So I guess it's hard to me, and I'm really comfortable in this weight division, and I want to achieve and success exactly in heavyweight.
Thank you for that. We got one last question. This one will go to Dylan Bowker of My MMA News. Dylan, please go ahead.
Hey there, I appreciate the time. I'm kind of curious because the response has generally been just kind of like,
promoters will figure out who the next opponent is. But I'm kind of curious if there's any interest in fighting Dustin Johnson, just because that was a bout that was targeted for one on TNT 2 just earlier this month.
Вопрос такой, вы уже сообщили, что у вас, в основном промоутер и менеджер решает о вашем следующем бое. И есть боец Джастин Доуси, который недавно тоже уже в вашем дивизионе. Вы бы хотели бы с ним подраться?
Честно, я, наверное, не видел его. Не видел его бои и не знаю, кто это. Но если нас сведут и там мой тренер-менеджер там с организацией договорятся, то, в принципе, я готов ко всем.
Honestly, I don't know him, and I never heard about him. But again, if one championship offers this fight and my manager and promoters will accept it, I guess we can go with it. No problem.
And just, I'm curious how he feels about just the debut under the one championship banner here. Like, if it was the most quintessential debut he could have possibly had.
И последний вопрос. Что думаете о своем дебюте? Такой интересный дебют у вас оказался.
Я считаю, что бой в целом неплохой бой у меня был. Конечно, как он закончился, мне не совсем понравилось. Я хотел финишировать его. Но я считаю, что я был более доминирующим и показал хороший бой.
I think it started really well. I think I showed my dominance and my strengths, of course. Of course, it ended not as I planned or as I wanted to, but I did my best. And in the first 2 rounds, you guys saw that how dominant I was.
Congratulations on the victory, Kirill, and appreciate you guys giving me the time here.
Thank you so much for your time, Kirill. Congratulations again.
Поздравляю, спасибо огромное.
Спасибо. Thank you.
With that, we have come to the end of the One on TNT 4 post-event interviews. Thank you again to all members of the media for staying with us and asking questions. If you need further information on the event, you can contact the One Championship PR team at pr@onefc.com. My name is Gianni Suba. It has been a pleasure, and I hope you all have a fantastic week ahead.
Thank you, Gianni. And we'll have a fantastic weekend. I'll try to. It's a pretty long day so far, and there's plenty more to do. We're gonna write some articles later, but we're just gonna briefly give our thoughts. John's joined us in the chat. JHK, thank you, sir. How you doing?
Yes, sir. Good, man. Went out and got some lunch and then came back, and I noticed you were still doing your thing. So
yeah, I've
let's
been
get it
sat
in.
here for 8 a.m. 8:30 till 2:30. What's that? 6 hours?
Yeah, it's a long time.
Woo. Yes, sir.
But what did they say about Reug Reug? Like what actually happened?
Oh, I don't know, man. He kind of gave a bit of a roundabout answer, but I asked him, did you hit him on the throat and he couldn't breathe or something? And he said, no, I hit him on the side of he pointed to like here.
Mhm.
I asked, what do you think about people saying that he was play acting, and he said, I can't actually remember what he said, but I don't think he took a strong view on it. He did say, we kind of finished the questions, my bit, but then he said, I just want to point out one more thing, thank you, One Championship. They made the right decision here. So I think he was trying to be quite political and not piss off anyone, but I think he thinks he deserved the win. And the blow was legal. And Chatri said the blow was legal because it was at the bell. So, yeah, what happened with Reug Reug, man? What
I don't
happened?
know.
Chris
That
says
is-
he gave up. Yeah.
He did look gassed and everything, but man, I don't know. That was just an odd sequence of events. Did he give up? I don't know if he gave up. I don't want to accuse somebody of giving up, but it did look like he got hit in the throat. That's what it looked like to me. I don't know if it was at the belt. I would have to go back and watch it. But man, I don't know if you could. I don't know if there'd be that much damage caused by that punch because it didn't even. It almost looked like it didn't even land. It looked like it kind of like skimmed off his neck or whatever. I guess he hit him in the jaw, but it looked like the neck to me. I don't know.
Urga says he's trying to pull off that Levikas move. Yeah, this is what I thought. Maybe he was trying to get a DQ. This is my take, and who knows if I'm right. But I think he just gassed hard, and he didn't want to or wasn't able to do a third round, and maybe was looking for a way out, or am I taking too strong a take here?
Possibly, possibly it could be something in that, you know what I mean? But now it's like you look back at it and say, should he have fought 3 weeks after he fought last time? You know what I mean? It looks like he wasn't ready for it. Maybe he was eating his own hype. You know what I mean? Maybe he was believing it too much. And this guy came in and didn't believe any of it. And he fought him really well, it was just, unexpected, right? Something that was really unexpected. Unfortunate because now Reug Reug is going to have a reputation of being kind of like a flopper. Like a lot of people point to like football, right? Football, a lot of players, they flop on the field and act like they're hurt, you know what I mean? And they get the stretcher and they come out and get carried off the field. It happened today with Reug Reug, right? So hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully he comes back strong and kind of erases that from our memory. But this sport, man, everything's about your last performance, and everybody's gonna be talking about that now. That's what happens when I start believing the hype too much, right? Like it happens. It happens, to everybody. We've seen it happen to many fighters, man. It's just they get into deep waters and they can't handle it. So maybe this will be a good learning lesson for him to work on his cardio. But I don't know. It's a good win for the other guy, right?
Yeah, Kirill Grishenko, well done.
Yeah, he did really
I
well.
asked him who he wants to fight after, and he just said, I don't know. I'll let one championship decide. So
I don't like when fighters do that.
It annoys
doesn't
me.
matter what
Use your
you say.
time, man.
Yeah, use the time, and of course, if one champion decides, they decide, but don't say that they're gonna let them decide. What's the point of that? You might as well say, okay, I want to fight this guy. I think I could take this guy. Maybe 2 months from now, I want to fight this guy or this guy. You know what I mean? And it doesn't hurt to do that, right? Because you're not bashing anybody. You just want to say, okay, I want to fight this guy or this guy. This is what I want. If you give it to me, you give it to me. But if you're just saying that you just let them decide, it's just like, come on. A lot of
look
people
at
are
the
doing that.
contrast with De Ridder, who used his time to call out Brandon Vera, right?
Yeah.
He was short and sweet, and he just created a big story and a big buzz, which now all the headlines are going to be like, De Ridder calls out Vera. Whoa.
Triple champ, right? He's
Yeah,
going for
man,
that
triple champ. He could have said, oh, yeah, it was a good win. Congrats. Sorry, Aung La, you fought really well. And then they could have said, oh, who you want to fight? He's like, well, I don't know. It's up to one. I'm just going to go home and see my family. And no one will be talking about it,
Yeah.
Now everyone's buzzing like, whoa, 3 belts? That's crazy. Can he beat Brandon Vera? Used his
No one's
lifetime
done that.
effectively.
No, I don't think anybody has done that in the history of the sport, is hold 3 belts consecutively, simultaneously. It's just Pitbull was trying to do it in Bellator. I mean, this is what he told me. He wants to go down to bantamweight and try to take that title. But this is later this year. If De Ridder can beat him to that and face the heavyweight champion, if you were gonna do it for someone else, I think you should do it for De Ridder. You know why? It's because he stepped in on short notice for this fight and went in there, did a phenomenal job, captured the title. You should reward him for that. You should say, okay, De Ridder, we're gonna give you one. Okay, who do you want? Okay, you want the heavyweight champion? All right, you get the winner of Brandon Vera versus Arjun Buller, right? And then that's your next fight. Let's see if you could do it.
You should have
It doesn't
said,
hurt.
man, I just beat the hype train you guys have been pushing for the last 3 months, and I've just beaten him. So give me Brandon Vera. Yeah, give me whoever. Anyway,
I like it. So, what
Dylan,
did Ong come on and do the interview?
yeah, I'll get to that in a second.
Mhm.
Yeah, Dylan asked Kirill if he wanted to fight Dustin Johnson, the Canadian.
Nothing. Yeah, he didn't even know
didn't
who
say
he
anything.
was.
Yeah, Dylan thinks Reug Reug was play acting as well. And I just wanted to get this one. Ivan from Dugout Philippines. What's up, Ivan? I think was also on the media call. So he's asking us what our fight of the night is. I'll throw that one to you first, John.
I think it was Eddie and Oak. I think that was the fight of the night. I think that was a great fight. You know, he was on the edge of getting finished, and he came back and actually fought really well the second and third rounds. It's just that he was so far behind that he couldn't catch up. But it was a good back and forth. You know what I mean? Both guys got hit with hard shots. But Oak, man, he's the story, man. They need to give him something big. What did they say about him?
Chatri said, yeah, Oak could be next for Christian Lee.
Mhm.
He also said, you know, Shinya might have earned another crack at Christian.
Yeah.
And Oak said he was pretty cool. He said that, you know, Christian is just about to have a baby, and I don't want to bother them now, so don't want to talk about that. But I do want the fight. I think I deserve it. I think I'm the only one he's not fought in the top 5. So if he wants to give that to me, yeah, I'll do it. But he said it might be too late to wait for that by the end of the year. So he says he's happy to take on someone else in the top 5 in the meantime. But he did the classic, it's up to one championship. I think they put this in contracts and shit for fighters in one. They just say, if you're asked about who you want to fight next, you must say, well, one championship decides. Because the line, I hear the line from so many fighters and it's almost verbatim, like they've had to rehearse it. But then you get someone like RDR who just goes off script, and it's kind of why he's cool, isn't he? Yeah, Erga, I bet RDR was trying to get a belt from his shoulder to his foot. That dude was good. Yeah, I think my fight of the night, I would agree with you probably, John. And performance of the night, should we do that? I think RDR stands out for me. Just
that was
to do what
dominant.
he did on 6 days' notice. I know he was in training camp for Abasov, but getting off the beach after a week or two and putting on a bunch of holiday weight, I'm sure, and can't be easy then flying to Singapore.
Not at
So
all.
congrats to him, man. Yeah. What did you make of RDR, and where do you think he actually stands now in pound for pound in the world? And
In the world, it's hard to
what's his
say,
level?
but
Yeah.
in one championship, he has to be top 3. He has to be top 3, right? You'd have to think it's RDR, Adriano, and Bibiano, right? I think those would be the top 3 pound for pound best fighters in the promotion. Am I wrong about that? And then, you know, you could throw in Christian Lee in there, right? You could interchange those guys.
Oh,
but
yeah. Jesus. Forgot about
so those 4 are just right now, they're riding the highest, right? And maybe even, you know, maybe you might just even take out Bibiano, you know, because he hasn't fought in so long and doesn't seem like he's fighting anytime soon.
I don't think you could take him out, but maybe if he doesn't fight again soon, I could see like RDR and Adriano maybe going above him. I would still have him as one. I think he's the GOAT in one championship. But
Yeah.
if he doesn't fight for another year or whatever, I don't know what's going on with him. But if he stays inactive, then I think RDR goes and wins Brandon's belt. You know, you just on the fact alone, he'd be the first person to have 3 belts in one. I do believe that's got to put Reinier up the top, no matter how weak those divisions are. And Adriano's win over DJ potentially already has him above Bibiano. I don't know, but
the thing about Bibiano is he's the most dominant champion for the promotion ever. You know what I mean? Like that says a lot for him. So hopefully you know, he gets another fight, and if he goes in there and dominates, like let's say he fights a John Lineker in the next 3 months or somebody and dominates them, then of course he still sits on the top of the mountain, because that longevity, it means a lot, right? And at the age he's doing it, he's not a young buck. He's like in his late 30s, I believe. Or is he 40? I don't know. But yeah, but De Ridder going up and challenging for the heavyweight title, especially with the monsters at heavyweight right now, and becoming the champion. Yeah, it's man, that's an argument on both sides. Like Bibiano, Adriano, De Ridder, and then you got Christian Lee. Those are the top four. Who can you put in there in the top five? Like one more person that's pound for pound. Do you think?
John Lineker's creeping up. Guess that's a good one.
Yeah,
I
that one
think Tanle could push in there.
Yeah, but I don't know. He's just become a champion. You know what I mean?
I had Martin there in the top 3 in one, I think, before this year, or before October last year, and I'm sure we can't write Martin off yet.
No,
I
we
think
can't.
Martin could
Of
make
course
a
not,
push
dude.
back into that conversation, and
But yeah, just that 5th spot. It's very interchangeable. Let's just say that, right?
I would agree with that. Maybe we'll see. Maybe if Ham goes out and wins this Grand Prix and then takes
Becomes the
Angela's
champ,
belt,
then you
gotta
definitely
put
have her in there.
Angela's arguably top 5, but it's just the level of opponents she's fought. If you bring that into it,
That's true too, and she
I
did
mean
lose.
DJ, right? You gotta put DJ in, I guess. But
Yeah, it's interchangeable, right? You gotta look at
Yeah.
it like it's interchangeable. Man, it's a trip how Eddie Alvarez has come over to one and just has not even gotten. I don't even think they've gotten like 10% of what they invested. What do you think?
it's been a disaster.
It has. It has been a
And there's
disaster.
no
man.
hiding. He's had 4 fights. He's lost 3. One of them got overturned, but I think that was lucky to get that overturned.
He has one win against Folayang.
And nearly lost that fight.
Yeah, nearly lost that one. But the thing is,
Can you imagine if he'd
he's
been 0-4 or something?
no, just be.
They
you
might
know,
have
what
cut
can
him.
It's hard, yeah, because if you think about it, they're probably paying him. They're
Yeah.
probably paying him 6 figures, right? So 6 figures a fight, you could go get 3 up and comers for this price of him, and then they're gonna win fights,
Mm.
right? And they're gonna compete. It's just, I just wonder what's the next step for Eddie. We were talking about it, right? Maybe he should go down to featherweight. Because
Yeah,
featherweight is actually lightweight.
I said this to Chatri on the media call afterwards, and he just wasn't really having any of it. That he went on a big thing about the difference in weight systems and all that, which I knew already, all the ins and outs of it. But I think he was trying to explain it to maybe some of the other viewers if they don't know, and American media. But I wasn't really asking about how the weight systems work. I was asking, do you think Eddie should go to featherweight? Because let's be honest, that's what he was fighting at before. But then I think I asked him a follow-up, and he sort of said, I don't think he can cut the extra weight now. He's too big, but he's quite
I
old.
don't
He's
know, man, 'cause
37.
he looks small compared to the other guys.
He is smaller than everyone in the division, man, and
Yeah.
he's not going to beat Christian Lee. I think
No.
we see that today. Any talk of that matchup for me died today because Christian
Exactly,
is
and
tall as well, and he's got the advantage in size and reach and range and everything.
And he's not even like. Would you even put him at a top 10 fighter in that division? Like he's
You
1,
can't after
3, and
yeah.
no contest, right?
He's not. He might get in the top 10 just based on name value and having a win over the former champion Folayang, but it's just unlucky for Eddie as well. We say all this stuff, but
Yeah.
if those punches behind the back of the head, if he'd not done that, and if he probably was going to beat Lapicus there,
Yeah.
and if he did that, none of this would have happened, and he'd be fighting Christian Lee, and who knows what happened. Now he's at the back of the queue.
He is. He's in the back. I wonder
Yeah,
if he wants to work himself back up. What's his mentality? Did he come on the post fight?
No,
Did he do the
he
interview?
didn't turn up. I think,
Exactly, right.
understandably frustrated, but I understand how tough it can be. But then you look at Aung La N Sang, man, just came on, fronted up to the media. He was clearly so upset and down about the result. his face was a little beat up, and he had like a busted lip or something, and his mouth was all dry, and he had to stop and drink water while I was asking him questions. But he stepped up and spoke and gave the interviews. I'm not condemning Eddie for not doing that, and I know how frustrated he must feel, but it just shows like the difference in mentality. I think maybe that I don't see a lot of humility there. Even after the Lepicus one, he was just like, yeah, that was bullshit. I don't know. Does that matter?
It can, but Eddie's been around the game for a long time. You know what I mean? You know, he's
love
probably
Eddie as
not
well.
used to speak with the media after he loses, especially after going 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And he's probably really frustrated because he couldn't get him Oak down, and Eddie's known for his wrestling, and he just couldn't connect with any kind of, you know, power shots, which Eddie is known for. It just, you know, I guess it just wasn't his night. But the thing is, he does need to just work himself back up if he does want to work himself back up. But I feel like, I don't know, it's going to be hard for him to get to that title, even close to that title again. Because, you know, who does he fight now? It's like, does he go and take a chance to fight a guy that's really good that has no name again and lose?
Well, the funny thing is, he's been turning down the Shinya fight. Everyone always asks him about Shinya Aoki trilogy. He's like, I don't care about that. And now, Chatri said, I think Eddie's 1 or 2 fights away from fighting Shinya. You know? So that match isn't even there from now. I don't know who he fights. Maybe he's going to get our boy Antonio Caruso is going to get the Eddie Alvarez fight now that he's trying to campaign for.
Or Sexy Yamaka fight Eddie Alvarez, because he was going to fight Edward anyways. You know what I mean? He was going to go down to lightweight. So
I just think, man, go down to, if he can make the cut, go to featherweight, and we're going to see Eddie. I think he's against people more his size there. These aren't a knock on Eddie's performances, right? He's just fighting bigger guys, and that's the reason there's weight classes in MMA. You know, it's that old chestnut.
It is just. But he does. I still think Eddie has fights in the division and decent fights. It's just, can he beat those guys? That's the question now. Is like, is he done?
But look at,
not done as in like he's gonna retire, but is he done like in elevating his skill set, in coming out and performing at the highest level? You know,
I don't think he can get his game plan going against any of these guys, because look at, you got Peter Baust as well, who would do the same thing as Oak did today, use that height. We saw what Timothy did to him. Who else you got? I mean, Caruso's big, he's tall, it's rangy. What do you think? She said is asking, is Oak Rae actually worthy of a title shot? Do you think a match with Timothy should decide it? I mean, I don't know if they'd want to do Timothy again with Christian so soon, right? So
no,
who should Oak fight if he doesn't fight Christian next, basically?
In my honest opinion, you know, beating Eddie Alvarez, I don't think that justifies a title shot. Because look at what Eddie has done in his last 4 fights, right? We know, right? It's he doesn't have the best record. Oak does need one more win, but if they give him a title shot, I'm not going to be angry about it. But he does need one more win. I think he should fight somebody, let's say a Timothy or a Peter or somebody, right? Somebody that is has a bunch of fights already in there and has challenged for the title before. Why don't you just put him against Shinya? I think that would be a good test to see if he's really able to go and challenge Christian Lee. Because like you know, I think a lot of people know that Christian Lee's not going to come back anytime soon. He's having a baby, right? And I think he should take his time to come back and let the division, you know, figure itself out. And Christian Lee was right the whole time about Eddie Alvarez, right? He's been saying the whole time, like, Eddie Alvarez, you know, he doesn't deserve, you know, I don't think I need to fight him. And he knew something, you know, a lot of us didn't. Like, I guess.
How much fuel is this for Christian, man?
Exactly.
I can just see he's gonna like low key dying off on this one. The next interview he gets, he's just gonna smile and be like, "Yeah, I told you so."
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you should talk to him next week.
Yeah, if he wasn't having a baby, I'd be on the phone already trying to get him.
Yeah.
But I'll leave Christian alone.
Yeah,
Like
so-
Rae Yoon suggested.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to get Oak, talk to him either later
Yeah.
today or tomorrow, and see, like, get more, more deep into the performance and more deep into like what he wants to do next, and what he thinks about future opponents. But yeah, he's in a great spot. I think him and Shinya are in the best spots right now in the lightweight division. They're in the best
Yeah.
spots. Like 2 months, a month ago, we didn't even know who Oak was. Like, most people didn't have no idea. They're like, "Who's Oak? He's fighting Murat? What? That's a wash." And he goes in there and beats Murat, and now he beats Eddie Alvarez, a former Bellator and UFC champion. It's like,
Well,
what just happened?
I had no idea who Oak was until I think they put him against Gaffarov, and
Mhm.
yeah, I think I asked you like, who is this guy, and you didn't even know that much about him.
Yeah, I I didn't know that much about him, but I've seen him fight. He does have titles and everything, but it wasn't like his performances were like super like impressive against like low level competition, right? But it looks like when he gets to the higher level, he raises the bar himself, and look what happened. Look at the result. You can't doubt him now.
On a side note, might have RDR Reinier de Ridder tomorrow morning.
Mhm.
I was thinking maybe we'll do a podcast tomorrow, and he could jump in for 15 minutes or so if you want to join us. I don't know, just arranging
Tomorrow?
a time. Yeah,
Tomorrow I got interviews all morning,
Okay.
and I got
I'll
the
figure it
live
out.
chat also.
Oh yeah. All right,
Yeah,
maybe I'll
so-
do it after your live chat. So anyway, staying on Shinya, then I guess there was a question here. What do you make of him calling out Akiyama now that Akiyama's trying to go down to lightweight? Yeah, that was a weird one for me.
Yeah,
And
but a lot of
Shinya
people
was
don't like. I don't think a lot of people like Akiyama, Sexyama in Japan, especially fighters. So Aoki, he's not the most well-liked person either. So he's trying to stir the pot, I think. I think he's trying to stir the pot in Japan because that's a big headline in Japan, right? Aoki wins. He calls out Sexyama. That's gonna get headlines. People are gonna click on that. They're gonna read that in Japan. Japan's probably right now, like nipples hard and everything, just like going nuts over there, right? Just remember when I broke the news about Aoki's fight against what was his name? Whatever, right?
Nakashima, James
Yeah,
Nakashima.
Nakashima. They were all like up in arms about that, and they were like, people are like, "Oh, you're not welcome in Japan anymore because you broke news." It's like, that's what we're supposed to do. That's our job. What the hell?
Did they say that
But
to you?
no, someone told me like, "Hey, is the media still mad at you in Japan?" It was like, "What? The media's mad at me in Japan?" I didn't even know that. I was like, "Oh, where'd you hear that?" He's like, I guess
yeah.
there was something going around about that, so I don't care. I'm
Yeah,
not scared
well,
of the
they were
media.
pissed, yeah, because what they do in Japan, right? They all release the news at the same time, like
And
no one
that's
gets the scoop, which is weird.
completely stupid. Like,
That is
what is
stupid,
the
yeah.
point of competition then?
But
Like,
fun in a weird way, solidarity.
what, everybody sits on like Zoom and says, "Okay, we're gonna all press enter at the same
the
time." Press it's like the secret bomb codes, right? Like everybody has to twist the key, in the movies at the same time. It's like that doesn't make any sense. Like, what are you doing? But it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. I think Aoki's trying to stir the pot in Japan. I think we might not understand that, but I think because those guys have long histories in Japan and in the promotion and in fighting in general, I think that's going to be a big fight that they want
Yeah.
in Japan, right? So, and of course, Sexyama is going to come out and be like, have to answer to that, right? Be like, would you fight Aoki? And if he says yes,
How's he
I think
gonna get to lightweight though?
exactly. I don't know because he's pretty
The
big.
guy looks like he's not got an ounce of body fat at welterweight.
Exactly. It's a trip. And welterweight is like it's 185, man.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. But
Here's a comment. Than Zor has gone in hard on Mr. de Ridder, saying he has no skill, just takedowns and just boring for entertainment. Most of the audience don't want to watch, only one skill. No striking at all. He does not deserve championship, but still says congratulations.
That's a weird, like,
but
passive aggressive
yeah,
comment, right?
Yeah, Ong said a little bit again, like he doesn't want to strike with me. He only wants to grapple. But it's mixed martial arts, isn't it, John? It's,
Yeah, you gotta use you gotta go the path of least resistance, right? And win the fight. And that's what de Ridder did. Of course of course he doesn't want to strike with Ong. Of course he doesn't want to.
Yeah,
Because
only
if
a
he did,
madman would strike with Ong.
exactly. You see what happened to Brandon Vera, right? And I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
de Ridder saw that and said, okay, I'm not gonna do that. That's not something that I want to do. I don't want to brain damage. I want to take it to the ground, single legs, and just maul him, just suffocate him. And that's what de Ridder did, man. You know, Ung's saying the truth, right? And de Ridder's
Yeah.
also saying the truth. But Tan Zaw, come on, buddy. We know, you're probably frustrated. You're an Ung fan, but if I had one skill, then you gotta think, okay, is Khabib not fun to watch either? Like, he's not entertaining? Because he kind of does the same style, right? He sits there and he kind of mauls guys and pitter patters them. He doesn't really have power, you know what I mean? Especially on the feet. His striking is not the greatest, but he wins and he uses the least.
I don't know.
path
I
of
thought
least resistance.
Khabib's striking improved a lot, and
It did, but did you see it in the
Yeah.
beginning, dude? It was
Yeah.
not very good at all. But his wrestling
But I
was
think
so solid.
someone in the chat said it earlier, or while we were in between interviews, that kind of de Ridder is the new Khabib, or the Khabib of one. But I was saying I don't think he's as violent as Khabib, if that makes sense. Like, he's not.
No, his ground and pound is not as the same,
Yeah.
right? And
But-
the style of wrestling is different.
Yeah, I think Reinier said he was the one thing he's disappointed in maybe was the striking. He wanted to show a little bit more of that. But he still feels he got some good shots in on the ground and some elbows and things. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. So how about Manong Eduard? Is he done? I presume Manong is like a name in a kind of familiar name in Philippines. I don't know.
I don't think he's
Google
done.
it. No, he says no. I've got 3 years left. So
Yeah, let him fight, man. Let him fight. Let him fight up and coming guys. You know what I mean? If he wants to still fight, let him fight. It's
also it's like older brother is Manong.
Oh, really? Okay.
Kind of a
So
familial
older
term, yeah.
brother Edward, let him fight. Let him do his thing. You know, he could fight up and coming guys. There will be a good test. He would be a good test for them. If he beats them, good. If he doesn't, then it's good that you got to win on a former champion in Edward. I don't know. I don't think he's like so shot. He doesn't look like a BJ Penn. Let's just say that, right? Out there.
Yeah.
Because that's a different
Yeah,
story, right?
But I didn't like the matchup for him. I saw it going no differently than the one before.
Yeah.
It just depends. He's not going to get anywhere near the top 5, let alone the title. So does he want to just beat some guys, maybe be a little bit of a gatekeeper? If they had top 10, he might be kind of on the edge of that, or sort of he's the guy you fight to break into that top 10. That's going to be the role, the gatekeeper. So
He's
if
in
he's
the
happy with
same
that,
position as Eddie Alvarez, I think.
yeah, maybe.
Pretty much, right? He's in the same like bracket. Like, he's like on the verge of the top 10, but not there. And it's going to take a win or two to even just crack it. And yeah, for Edward, it's okay because he's been around the game for a while. You know, he's been with the promotion for a long time. I think it's all right. But for Eddie, it's like we had so much expectation. That's the difference, right? Between Eddie and Edward. And all the expectation just doesn't add up, right?
Yeah. Some comments here. Dan saying one doesn't have fighters who can match RDR's style in UFC. Hamzat would give him trouble. Yeah, it's interesting to think how Reinier would match up. I'm fascinated by that. The back of Survivor is probably going to fight Sage Northcutt next. Yeah, that was hilarious. He told Sage Northcutt to eat shit on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I asked him about it, and he's like, "Oh man, I
Yeah,
can't
that's
remember what
funny.
they said, but yeah."
So funny.
What else is here? Any questions of anyone? If you have any, I guess Oak is quite okay, huh? JHK, yeah.
Yes, he is.
Indeed, indeed. Any other questions people have? Let me know. I'm just scrolling back up the chat.
Yeah, man. I think if there's no question, you should shut it down, man. It's 4 hours now with just the
Yeah.
post fight. It's like
I'm trying to
know.
think of if there's anything else worth talking about. So,
But what I know is
Jackie,
they're recording a bunch of fights today.
Yeah, yeah. So the fights are still going on, man. We got Brandon Vera v Arj Singh Bulla. Martin's fighting Kim Jae-un.
Yeah.
Not Rae Yoon, like I said before. Ritu against B, which was out of left field. And Ritu's going to be in the Grand Prix, presuming if she wins that.
Yeah.
Imagine if B beat Ritu, and then does she sneak into the Grand Prix or what?
I would push for it.
Yeah.
Because coming off a loss. But the thing is, Stanton Fairtex lost and she's in the Grand Prix.
Hmm.
So, you know.
What's up with Aoki's voice? Does he smoke? Legit question. It's the Marlboro Man, Adam.
No, I think that's his voice.
Yeah, it's hilarious though. Did
it's
one botch
unique.
the Reug matchmaking? Yeah, maybe this was a match too far for Reug Reug.
Maybe
we saw. I always thought there might be like a ceiling. He's still quite new to MMA, right? I'm sure he can get better, but the cardio is clearly not there.
Yeah,
and that's understandable. Anticipating the fights tonight, though, seems like there will be a pre-recorded for the 1st May. Yes, Martin and Kim will be good. Yeah. Why don't we get out of here then? It's been 4 hours. My backside is going numb.
Yeah.
Yeah. And need to do some work, write some stories. Yeah, I'm looking to actually get Reinier and maybe do something live with him tomorrow morning. So I'll confirm all the times with that. Maybe after John finishes his show, 9 a.m. right for you, Johnny boy?
Yeah, 9 a.m. Hong Kong time.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
10 a.m. over here in Korea. And yeah, I think it's Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern in North America. I'll have, 2 media members from 2 different publications. We just come together and have a good chat about whatever's going on. We'll probably talk about this a little bit too.
Who you got this week?
I got Spencer Kite of UFC.com, and then I have Ryan Galloway of lowkickmma.com. So,
okay,
one guy's in Australia, the other guy's in Canada. So it's kind of cool to bring everybody together.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I might set up a podcast for 10:30 Hong Kong whenever John finishes, and maybe talk to Reinier and do a little UFC preview. Maybe recap some of the ratings will be out. Yeah, we can discuss the ratings perhaps. But I don't know if you can make it, John. If you got interviews,
I don't know, man. Afterwards, I don't know. It might be hard for me because I have like other obligations. But I'll try,
well, I'm
man.
sure.
No
No worries. No worries. I'll get Leon either way. Cambodian King. See
LJ.
if Chris can make it. Yeah. So look for that tomorrow, everyone. And yeah, thanks for joining us earlier on the Fight Companion if you were there. And thanks John and Leon and Chris for holding it down there while I disappeared. I had to jump on this stream. The post-fight interview started kind of before Eddie Alvarez, I think. That was really weird. After the Shinya interview, he was first up at 11 a.m. Then there was like a half-hour gap.
Whoa.
So they started streaming the Aung La fight in the Zoom call. So it came up in here, and I was like, shit, I'm going to need a copyright strike. So I had to take that off screen and then just fill time. And I was giving awful commentary. It's like, oh, Derrida's taking him down. And Yeah, and he's taking him down again. Yeah, I apologize for that. Finally, they got the interviews back up and running, and
good.
maybe edit that out of the final video. But yeah, it's
people
been
appreciate it.
Yeah, it's fun. Always fun, isn't it, man? To do these one championship events and
We had a pretty good turnout for the fight companion. I think we had like 30,000 people watch.
Yeah,
so
30,000 on there. Picked up a bunch of new subscribers today, but if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It helps us out. And yeah, once again, thank you everyone who watched, commented, asked questions. Really appreciate you watching along with us, and hopefully you were entertained by the fights and by us. So we'll do it all again. What is it, May 15th for Dangal? Did I get
guess.
that right? That's not going to be live, but yeah, the next live one is Empower, as far as I know, May 28th. So we'll be back in full force for that one. Anyway, yeah, we'll see you there. Have a good one, everyone.